Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it's the 23rd of February 2020, or 2020. What was I about today? 4 minutes past 4 in the UK in the evening, 8 hours minus the time in the simulator, so it's 8:04 in the morning. And here we go. It's time for another Can I Fly Another Aircraft series aircraft. An aircraft that's been requested an awful lot. It's the Flight Factor 757. I purchased it about 3 days ago. I've logged about, I think, 2 hours in it. I've not actually done a complete flight from A to B, but just playing with the settings. Did a quick fly up to 10,000 feet down again and back up. Still getting my head around it. This will be the first time I've also done a setup from cold and dark. I've only ever started with the engines running, just for a bit of banter whilst I get my way around trying to flick some switches, which are a little bit unfamiliar with me. Essentially, I just want to see how common it is, or how similar it is to the 737, see if a lot of those skills are transferable to fly this aircraft. We know we've flown the Airbus before. That's very different in many ways. We've flown the classic Boeings, the 727, the 737-200. But yeah, this is an ultimate aircraft. A classic, very, very good-looking aircraft. Stopped making. They're still flying around. Flew on one about 3 months ago, actually, with TUI to... where did we go? All the way to Cape Verde, that was it. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Completely cold dark. I've put some baggage trolleys in for a bit of immersion. I've done the pre-boarding and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's good to see a lot of the members here, some new people here. Aviator Edinburgh says, hey, Captain Wannabe 737 Pilot says hello. And it says hi again. Asa Kazano says good afternoon. A new alpaca plane. Yes, I have to actually say massive thanks to his name on Discord's Cadence21. His YouTube channel, Positive Rate, he's the one that made this livery for me for this stream. So if you look at the video description below, you can find a link to his channel, just saying thanks to him for making the livery for him. So yeah, a lot of the members, Paul Emerson says, hey boss. Saba Temezari says, hey Captain, finally the 757. Absolutely, good to jump back into it. Well, back into it, first time we're going to do it. But yeah, let's see how we get on. We're in Brussels. We're currently on stand 143. Live weather, absolutely blowing a hoolie here. 260 at 24, gusting 34 knots. It's relentless. There's just continuous strong winds and storms all over northern Europe at the moment. Live weather though, Menorca looking much better. Nice weather, clear skies and high pressure. Nice sector to fly today from Brussels to Mahon. This is just sim. I think the scenery was from Brussels. Again, video in the link in the video description below to that scenery. But yeah, it's looking very empty. I'm just keeping away from VATSIM just for a little bit longer. Again, just sticking to the members only streams for the network. But I will probably jump back on at some point there. But yeah, here she is, all cold and dark, ready to go. Stand 143. I'll be taxiing to runway 25 right for departure. But anyway, let's jump in. I've not done anything except just preload Avitab and did the loading with this. I had to get used to this new EFB, but it's all pretty much ready to go with regards to the loading there, and I'll discuss some of the things there. I'm not really going to follow any checklist, so please let me know in the chat if I'm missing out something massive. I've not done it from cold and dark. I'm just going to kind of follow the 737 flow and see what happens. So I think the battery's here. I'll put that on, and I know from reading the manual I have to put this on to get standby power. So that's definitely the battery's on, but we need some AC power because you can see that the battery's discharging. So let's go here. I think it's ground, GPU, close that. We should be now able to select external power on. Do I have to close the bus tie breakers? There we are. We'll have to do that manually. Never done this. There we go. We've got some electrical power. I've got this new fancy ICAS system. There's no master caution system here, but we'll see. We'll just see how we get on. It could be funny there. Awesome. Oh yeah. To any of you notice I had 4 dislikes at the start of this stream. Damn those Airbus pilots. But I've set a target today. I want to try and get 757 likes for the live stream because we're flying the 757. So don't forget to punch the like button if you are enjoying the content. Right. So battery on. External power is now connected. We've now turned on the electric hydraulic pumps. Seems to be 4 on the 757, so I do turn all those on now. Alright. Well, we've got some low pressure lights off. This one's staying on. I'll put the RSs to nav. I really wish I'd done this prior to the stream. They're making weird noises. I've set it to quick alignment, so hopefully that'll do that quite fast. Landing gear lever, we now check on the 7.3, that's down, check all the documentation. We then do all the fire tests. Now I did see down here that's on the pedestal. Ooh, that's new sounds. So that's the wheel well fire warning. How do you turn it off? Oh, right, you have to push that. Engine APU cargo fire. Good. Oh. Yeah, so that's sounding. I guess you just check the ICAS to make sure that's all working. So we go back up on here. I've already put that to armed. Engine start. Well, I think these are the igniters. Let's leave it on 1. Start. We'll put these are the start switches, I guess. I'll leave those off for now. Fuel pumps. 10 tons of fuel. I'm just taking the kind of standard block fuel today. That's because I want to see how good the fuel burn is compared to the Simbury flight plans. I certainly know the Simbury flight plans are very accurate comparing them to real world flight plans. So yeah, I'll show you the flight plan later. We've got 10 tons on board for now. We've got position lights on. That tells people where we have AC power. I don't know if you can hear the ambulance going past my house there. I've got the window open to stop my office melting. Window heat's on. HF radio. We're not going transatlantic or anything like that. Or oceanic, so we don't need HF on. Let's put the no smoking sign on. The seatbelt sign's on. Pressurization. We don't want that on manual. Let's put that to auto. Landing altitude in Menorca is 300 feet. Here's all the pressurization system. It's so 80s, this style. I love it all. Logo light we don't need on. Flight deck door, leave that in auto. Air conditioning's up here. Cabin temperature 16 degrees. What is that? Actually, the temperature outside, no, it's 12 degrees here in Brussels. So these shouldn't be off. These should be on auto. Let's stick these up here. Auto. Trim air on. Recirculation fan should be on. What's these? The packs? No, that's probably the pack. Oh, that's the reset them. Let's put them on auto. Engine bleed. We'll need those on. Isolation valve we'll need to open. We'll start the APU shortly, but we don't want any conditioned air for now. I think I've done everything on the upper overhead panel. MCP. We need to set this up. So what's the runway heading in Brussels? It's 244. They've got this kind of auto heading mode, which I have no idea. Wait, I guess it just works out what the best mode is, like LNAV does. But runway heading is going to be 244. Flight level 60 is the stop level for the SID we're flying today. We will brief all that. Flight director's coming on. Order brake, RTO. It's very similar to the 7.3. Everything's where I expect it to be. The only thing I did struggle to find when I started is the EFIS panel, which is all the way down here. That's for a desktop simulator. That's quite tough because you have to keep looking heads down to change your ND around. But that's so you just have to get used to. Excuse me. Let's put that to map. We want airports on. The weather radar system's down here, so we want +5 for departure. We'll leave that off for now. I think we're all pretty much set here. I know that's how you set the ILS frequency. So when I first flew this, I just tried to fly an ILS, and I was trying to set it here. But no, the ILS frequency is apparently set down here. But we'll play with that later. Not VATSIM, so we need to worry about VHF radios today. So I think we're all set up on the up overhead panel. I'm guessing the align's flashing because it wants me to put my position in the FMC. So we'll do that. Let's get the FMC loaded, and then we'll go from there with the rest of the setup. We'll do the briefings as per usual. Have a look at the chat quickly because I've been chatting away here. Josh there, she's a wacky old bird compared to the Zemo. We'll see. I've never done a full flight in it, so it should be fun. Car de jour. I missed the yaw damper, he says on the up overhead panel. Just testing you guys. Well done, well spotted. Tim Skipper, you're trying to fly along, albeit on VATSIM in the A319. Very good. Adam Cash, I thought Alpaca Airlines is a smoking flight. Actually, you're well remembered. Please, I remind all my passengers, you are completely free to smoke at all times on an Alpaca Airways flight. Pokemon Guy says, please don't light a match. Oh dear. Excellent. Right, well, let's get the FMC loaded. I've not loaded this before. I've just played around with it. I've just been doing some up and down flights with the aircraft. So let's go to FMC. Latest AirX here. Now, just chatting to a few guys prior to the live stream, a lot of people requested the RB211s, which I really wanted to use as well. But the default Flight Factor's sounds aren't that great to me personally. So I've gone for the Pratt & Whitneys. I think they sound a little bit better. And then, lo and behold, someone said there is a sound pack available for the 757. Now, I did hear of this sound pack. Someone told me don't download it because people got a virus off it, so I didn't bother. The sounds are okay. They are apparently a BSS sound pack, which I don't know much stuff about this, but apparently it's meant to be good. But for me, it's not quite up to some of the others. But yeah, if we fly the aircraft again, I might look into the sound pack. It's okay, works completely fine. Gaby Brunei 747 next. He said, I don't think there's a decent 747 available for X-Plane 11. I did see that there was going to be a 747-200 coming out at some point, so I'd like to check that out. That would be a very much a challenge to fly. Right, we've got the latest version of the 757, latest air rack. Pratt & Whitney edges are glued to the wings. We're in Brussels, so we've got Echo enter IRS position. Let me just put my airport locator in here. So Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo, and the GPS position is here. I think you just line select the key down there. I was looking at that earlier. Yeah, it definitely aligned because we've got the nav data on the FMC. Let's get the flight plan up for today. That's going to be under charts OFP. There we have it. So that's all set. Route going from Brussels then to Mahon. That's Lima Echo Mike Hotel. And our flight number is, of course, Alpaca 01. To Charlie Papa 01. Departure is going to be runway 25 right, which I think is the favoured departure runway for the Southwesterlies here in Brussels. I've never flown into this airport. I'm having a bit of a guess. And we're going to be flying a Shivra to Delta, which is the RNAV SID direct to Shivra for this runway. Now, unfortunately, it's quite a long flight plan here. So you can see up here on the overhead panel, I've selected 10 tons of fuel. I've just taken standard block fuel, 10 tons. I probably would take a tad more because this burns a little bit more fuel than the 7.3. But I just want to see how accurate it is. Let's see if it's quite close to the figures we're getting on the flight plan. Hopefully it's quite close because I don't want to be getting any less than the reserves. That's our alternate to get us to Barcelona today. So that's the fuel situation. Yeah, unfortunately, quite a lot to punch in today. So we're going to go now, get cracking with this. So departure we've done. Go to the route page. Yeah, it's just like the 7.3. Look, after Shivra, it's going to be November 872. I should look at a way to copy and paste this in. I know you can do it using the Zebo mod and other aircraft. Ooh, what was it not happy with? No, it's my fault. I put it in wrong. After Shivra, November 872 to Medil. Yeah, I think there is a way to copy and paste it, but unfortunately, I didn't have time prior to the stream to get that set up. So you must bear with me whilst I type in quite a long route for what is a reasonably short flight. Only about 2 hours or so this flight is. Sometimes you get that. The longest flight I've done is about 5 hours to the Canaries from the UK. And sometimes the routing is a quarter of this length because some of the airways are quite long. But here we have lots of little airways joining up all the RNAV waypoints. It looks like we're not flying over any VORs on this routing. Upper November 857 to Dermo. And from Dermo, Upper Zulu 365 to Gure. And from there, Upper November 860 to Evpok. Oops. There's dinging noise in the cabin. A cabin crew should be busy loading the passengers. I do have some kind of background noise for immersion the Flight Factor does. Occasionally you hear this sort of jet fighter flying past. It's a bit unusual. I don't know if you've heard it yet in the stream, but there's lots of bangs going on in the background. Right, nearly there, guys. There's Rokan, up in November 727 to Sargo. And from Sargo, it's the Sargo 3 Bravo for runway 01. Now, I looked at the weather. It does seem to be slightly favouring 19 straight in. We'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, we'll fly this. There's an arc, a transitional arc that goes all the way around onto ILS 01. Yankee, it has a transition from the arc to the ILS. And that's why I've selected it. It's the Balio transition. Let's just step through this, make sure there's no route discontinuities. There is Balio. Well, we can get rid of the other Balio, so we go direct to CIO 01 Yankee, and we'll tidy up the rest later. Thanks for your patience. It's all in there now. Activate, execute. Let's have a look at the performance. So if you again look here at the Lido flight plan, I've just noticed with the Flight Factor yesterday when I was playing around with it, I don't know if this is the only configuration available, but I filled every single seat available. It's only got 170 seats. Well, the 737s I've flown have more seats than this. It's sort of like got this first class section where they've got massive seats. So fully loaded 757-200 for Flight Factor there's the 170 passengers. You hear that UFO just fly past as well? Oh, funny noises going on. So just to make that match, what I've done is I've put 2,200 kilos of cargo in here. That's given us a zero fuel weight of 77,756. So it matches now with the Simbury flight plan. So 77.8, and that's already loaded on here. 10 tons of fuel, which is just a slightly more than the minimum block of 9.9. So that's all set up regarding the loading. Now, performance-wise, I have no idea. I've got no accurate performance calculator for this. Okay, reserves 3 tons. Cost index I've chosen is 32. Flight level 370. I don't think there's anywhere up here to set the flight level. I think it's automated. What was the other thing? I couldn't find any probe heat here either. I think the probe heat might be automated on the 757. I have no idea. So that's set. Takeoff. Now, there's two. We've got 1, 5, 15, 20. I have no idea, again, what the default flap setting is for departure. Obviously, a lower flap setting. If you're climb limited, short runway is going to be flap 25. I'm just going to go flap 5. It's because it's what I use every day on the 7.3. I guess this is some sort of assumed thrust calculation. I don't know. It's quite a long runway here in Brussels. It's 3,700 metres. It's very long, and we're not super heavy. I think I'm just going to put 30 degrees in here, and I've just whacked that in. No idea. Flap 15, flap 5. Chat's giving me all sorts of suggestions for flaps. Oh my goodness. I'll go with flap 5 because that's what I know, and that's what someone suggested too. CG is 19%. Mac, so let's close that. What did I just say, 17 or 19? Because it was 19 earlier. 19. Let's stick that in here. Trim 4.8. So, my joystick's still under my desk. Let's set 4.8 units of trim. There we are. So there's no big stab trim wheel here. It's all on this little gauge. And the V-speeds, we'll use the estimated V-speeds, they can't be far off. V2 145. Oh, well, that's pretty neat. It set it up for me, right? I think we're in business. X-Aviations, yeah, I think that Flight 5 is the default, although I'm not so sure. All right, we'll see. Brandon Posper, for arrivals, it's gear down flap 20 instead of flap 15. That is interesting to know, Brandon. Thank you very much. That could come in useful later. Well, it will definitely come in useful. Right, latest QNH then from Brussels 1015. So we'll set that on all the altimeters. That's going to be indicating the elevation, which is 184 feet. Yeah, it's not too far off. It's just about 200 there, but it could be a little bit higher on the ramp. 1015 on the standby, and the first officers on 1015. Right, I think we'll get the APU turned on now. Oh god, let's leave the standby power to auto. APU start. I'm sure it's as simple as that. So we'll let the APU boot up, and now we shall take a look at that. Let's have a look at the briefing. Thank you very much, my friend from the east. Your FlyJSim 737-200 video helped me a lot. Thank you, he says. Well, thank you very much for giving the donation, and I'm glad you enjoyed the FlyJSim impromptu stream from the other day. That was very, very generous indeed. Steve Walsh, select temperature 50 will give you V1 138, 140, 143, and EPR 1.32 if you want to derate. If you work that out for me, Stuart, on a calculator of some sort, I'll go with your settings then. Let's go 50. 37, 41, 43. Close enough, with a couple of dots. EPR's 1.32. I'm not used to these EPR settings. I want the big fat N1 for me. Has the APU started? There's only one way to check that out. Oh yeah, there's definitely some sort of gas coming out the back. Nice and quiet in the flight deck at least. Right, so how to get the APU on the bus? APU generator failed. Oh god. I don't want to just disconnect the ground power. Oh no, there we are. APU generator on. Probably had the utility bus on as well. Okay, I think let's put APU bleed on. Yeah, that's definitely working. Look, APU's duct pressure. I think I can now disconnect the GPU, and we'll get rid of everything as well. So let's remove all. Oh! Uh-oh. Oh no! Why is it making that sound? Why did that lose electrical power? Bus type breakers tripped. Well, it's definitely powered now. Battery discharge lights. Oh dear. Has that tripped the yaw dampers? Does that do? No, it doesn't seem to trip it on the 7.5. Lovely. I lost AC power temporarily, but we're all good. Remove all and airplane. Close all doors. Right, I think we're all ready to push back pretty much. Right, so I did pre-plan the better pushback. No, it's not on the EFB here. So better pushback, pre-planned pushback should be there already. It is. I'm just going for a straight pushback, and then we'll make a right turn there. So we'll go with that.
40, 30,
connect first.
20, 10.
Ground to cockpit.
Thank you very much to David Larson for the 100 Swedish krona. Well, he says, Godspeed, Captain. Thank you very much. Well, this has a very quick cruise speed, so we should have no issues at all, Mr. Larson. Thank you very much for the donation there. Very kind. Thank you very much to Andrea M, who super chatted $9.99 too. Thank you very much for your donations there. Very kind. Power back, I don't think so, Morov. Not with turbofan engines. Going to make a mess of them. It'll ingest all that FOD. Right, so what was the other thing I wanted to do? Better push back. No, right, I think it should be ready. Right, I should just release the parking brake. Right, now let's have a look at the taxi and SID. Oh yeah, I've got that on Avitab, which I can still bring up here with my shortcut. So airports, I've pre-selected everything. So here we are on stand.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Ready to connect. We're obviously in the French part of Belgium today. Stand 143, going to be a straight pushback. Then make a right turn, taxi out the 1 South apron. We'll make a left turn on Mike. And then Mike, which is about here, we'll go onto the outer apron. And then we'll taxi the whole point Bravo 1 for runway 25 right. And the departure, it's an RNAV SID, Chiffre 2 Delta. It talks about all the different times available. This is the one I'm using on the flight plan. Stop climb is flight level 60, so the transition altitude's below this, about, I think it's 4,500 feet. It's going to climb a runway heading to 700 feet, and then we'll make a turn to track 251 at 6 miles from Brussels, which is Bub 14.6, and I've been led to believe this should tune that automatically. Make a left turn, track 206, and then we'll intercept the Chiffre 053 inbound to Chiffre VOR 13.2. And again, that's tuned already. Look, it's already tuned 13.2 for that. So I'm not going to touch anything. We're going to kind of let LNAV do its thing. Very noise sensitive here. I was looking at my company's documentation for the departure. It mentions it's NADP1 for the SID, so we're going to actually bug up at non-standard at 3,500 feet today. We'll try and fly that manually. Right, did it tell me to release the parking brake or anything? Not sure. Right, what have I missed anything here? Centre hydraulic electrical pump is off. You're probably not meant to configure electric hydraulic pumps like this. No idea. Right, do I just release parking brake now? Let's turn the packs off. There we go. Bleeding pressure's increasing. Anti-collision light will turn on as well. Red. And transponder. We'll give ourselves a fictitious code again. 2020. There we are. Release parking brake. Let's see if that lets us go. There we are. I hope the better pushback thing is ready. Start pushback.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go. Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
I'll release it again. There you go. Imagine that didn't happen.
Starting pushback,
yes.
and you may start engine.
We're in business. Right, I think I've done everything. I've not used any checklist. I've sort of kind of used the 737 flow, really. But all the Boeings are roughly working the same. Ooh, what is going on? Why are we all cocked like this? Is that X-Plane 11 doing it? Oh, can you see that? What is going on? I think that... Right, hold on. Let me just try the X-Plane settings. I sometimes get this in my X-Plane settings. Not that one. That one. Graphics. I get this stupid roll offset thing done. It changed. Look, it's changing again. What's going on? It's like the roll offset. Someone says press W. No, that's not working. Right, I don't know if that's something to do with the better pushback, but it's the roll angle. It changes the roll angle. It does this on my X-Plane 11 all the time. It's either that or I've been drinking too much. My head's tilting to the side. Right, let's get the pushback done, and I hope it doesn't keep doing this. Oh my goodness me, it's all over the place. Alright, let's try to start one of the engines. Ground. Where's my engine information? Display engine. Right, N2. Fabi, you've experienced it before. Okay, lovely. I don't know if it's because I'm pushing back. Right, N2 28%. Let's put this to... Right, someone said don't leave it in rich, go to run. Well, it's done that enemy. Right, it's definitely doing something. Look, EGT's increasing. N1, N2's increasing. Apart from the crazy angles, I think we're okay. Oh, very funny, video later.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Right, parking brake is set. We've got the
Disconnecting
low
power standby.
oil pressure light is extinguished. That looks pretty stable here. N1's still slowly increasing, but I think we're okay to start engine number 1. Now the pushback's finished, I'm just going to try... Well, let's get the engine started first, and then I'll try and reset that angle. You put the fuel on at 20% N2. Maybe a bit less of that. Yeah, we'll do that then, if that's the 7.5 way. Run. Got EGTE raises really quickly. Disconnect. Ah, this is ridiculous. Well, hopefully we'll be able to fix this. Alright, so I think we've had 2 good engine starts. Looking okay. Just giving it a sort of... Let me just try and reset this again. I've never had this before though. Well, I've had it, but you can just reset it and it fixes it. But look, it's now... Well, it is now set to 0. Right, it's now... It seems to have fixed itself now.
Light spin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time on Have a Safe Flight.
Thank you very much. Au revoir, sir. Tom Dunson, Control E to start. Classic. FSX to the rescue. Thank you very much for the donation, Tom. I have no idea what caused that, but yeah, you can see it's all straightened up now, I think. Yeah, it's all fine. I sometimes get it when I've not used the sim for a while. Anyway, he said he was going to show me the hand signals to the right. Usually goes straight ahead. Wouldn't block a taxiway, but we'll wait for his... bypass pin to be shown. There we are. So we're all ready to go. Now, let's have a play with this. Let's do it the same way again we would with a 7.3. So we put the generators on. APU off. That's not caused anything unusual to happen. We then put the start switches to continuous. Probe heat. I don't think there's any probe heat here for me to worry about. Unless I'm missing it somewhere. Air conditioning packs then, we'll want these in auto. Isolation valve will close. AP bleed off. Alright, so that... Ooh, what did I just flick there? Oh, is that off? There, it's meant to be continuous. Electric hydraulic pumps fakes. So engine driven pumps on. Okay. So now we'll do the flaps to 5, 1, 5, and then we'll do a flight control check. So, full forward and full back, and left centre, right centre rudders, for right centre, full left centre. Where is recool? It's down here, I think. Yes, recool's here. Just saying, I've got the parking brake set. There we are, check's complete. I think there's nothing. There's no amber lights anywhere, there's no master cautions. I think we're all set. Scream in the chat if I've obviously forgot something. Centre fuel pumps, but there's no fuel in the centre tank, so I don't think I'd need those on. I think we're all ready to go and taxi out. Look at that, we've got 757 people watching. How befitting for this live stream. Don't forget to thumbs up the video as well. I'm trying to get to 757 likes to berate the 4 people who dislike this at even before I'd started the stream. That did annoy me. Right, anyway, let's taxi to hold point runway 25 right. If you remember rightly, we are just here. Taxi south, left mic. We'll go right on the outer taxiway, and then we're going to taxi to hold point runway 25 right. So that's all good. Light ascend. What we got here? We've got nose gear, and we'll put the turn off lights on as well. That's what we do at my operator. Well, I'll try to. Right, parking brakes released. Do a config check. There we go. No takeoff config warning, and we'll make a right turn onto the taxiway. Adrian, no Navigraph charts on the EFB. I think you can, with the Flight Factor 757, put them on there. But I'm just used to using Avitab, so it's just easier for me to use that. Good. And I think this is the heaviest aircraft we've ever flown in a live stream.
40,
Definitely.
30,
Oh no, the 7.2 we flew is probably a similar weight to this. Not sure. Thank you very much to Liam T for the donation. £1, thank you. Go to view menu and make sure the Cinema Verte isn't switched on. Thank you very much, Liam. I've just turned it off because I have it set to a shortcut, Shift C, but I've no idea what caused the view issues there earlier. Good stuff. So, latest weather here in Brussels. It's very windy. 290 at 20 is the latest. It's currently raining, apparently. I can't see any rain on my windscreen. Towering cumulus. Winds all over the place, but they are expecting no significant weather later on. So the wind is a slight crossing from the right. But we'll deal with that when we get going on. Oh, Devil is Gaming. My video is boring. I'm very sorry for boring you here, man. I suggest you perhaps try a more entertaining stream. Christ. Steve J, don't forget to blank the lower DU. I'm guessing like the 7.3, and yeah, maybe it has an ability to, if you have an engine issue, this pops up on like it does on the 7.3. We are making good progress. I think the sounds aren't too bad on this. You can see it's definitely wet. Sort of trying to taxi as well. A bit off the line. Yeah, I do love this livery by Cadence. It's really nice. Oh, there's the turn. Better concentrate on what I'm what I'm doing instead of looking at the pretty external views. Now, I don't know why I've got all the flight directors up like that. That again might be a 7.5 thing. Usually we'd only get the flight director indicators on the 737 after pushing toga. But again, it could be unique to this aircraft. Assad Kasana, you didn't set the flex near the ECAM. Isn't that an Airbus term, flex? Well, I've got this setting here. Should it set that automatically when I push toga? No idea. Am I meant to do something with this? No clue. No clue. Peely UK, do you find the new LED lights so much better in real life than the halogen? Yes, on the NG, the LEDs are a lot brighter than the conventional halogen. Halogens are not bad, but sometimes when you're taxiing at night time, the halogens aren't quite bright enough. Cool, so we're coming up to the Fox Altas. We'll then make a right turn to taxi on point 25 right. Thank you very much, Matt Smith. Very generous donation, $20. Here's to a smooth flight in for the smoking and non-smoking alpacas. Thank you very much, Matt, for the donation. Unfortunately, every part of the cabin is a smoking cabin, so you cannot get away from the stoogies and the cigars from my passengers. Thank you very much, Matt. Very, very kind. And welcome on board. Lovely. Yeah, the sound's not bad on this. Sometimes with a higher thrust setting, it does make a funny kind of winding sound. But we'll have a play with that. Well, hopefully we can't really play with the sounds, but hopefully it won't be too unrealistic. Right, let's do the before takeoff checklist. Again, following my operator's procedures. So config we checked. Flaps we have 5 for departure. No sort of leading edge indication or trailing edge indication, so we'll make sure that we'll hope that's set. Stab trim is also set, 4.8 units. Takeoff briefing, we can go up here, we've got the packs are in auto, the bleeds are on, the V-speeds are set for departure. We've got 3740 and 145 set. We're flying the Chivra 2 Delta, so we're going to climb on runway heading 244 to 700 feet, make a left turn 251 inbound to Bravo Romeo 045, and then eventually get our way to Chivra. Stop climb flight level 60. We're going to accelerate at the climb speed, which for the 737 was V2 plus 15 to 20. We'll maintain that speed roughly, and then when we get to 3,500 feet, we'll bug up and we'll climb up to flight level 60. So we'll need to try remember to set 1013. NADP 1 departure. That's it really. Wind's a bit strong from the right. Actually, I think there's a windsock. Yeah, look at that. You can see, look at that windsock. Whenever windsock's vertical like that, you know it's going to be windy. So that's it. That's the main issue. Slight crossover to the right. Gusty winds on departure. It might be a little bit bumpy, otherwise we're good. Okay, so here comes the whole point for runway Bravo 1 for 25 right. I'll just get the latest weather from my phone. 290 at 20 knots still. Visibility's dropped down to 3,500 meters in rain. But it's definitely not raining in my simulator. Cool. Anyway, here's the whole point. Imagine we've got our takeoff clearance, so we'll pop the lights on. Strobes can come on now as well, so I'll put the white wing, no, we don't need wing lights. Auto throttle LNAV, transponder TARA, weather radar is going to be down here as well. Weather turbulence, and we'll put weather on. Why have I got that weather radar on? Don't know why. No weather radar. We'll have a look when we get to that point. Oh, Rassler works. So we get the information on the ND, which is quite cool. We'll just get ourselves lined up, see if we can get the weather radar on, and then we'll go from there. So quite long aircraft, so you probably want to overshoot the centerline quite a bit here. Let's do around there. Not that we need to line up like this, it's because
on runway
I just want to practice.
25 right.
Yeah, I think that's worked out quite nicely. Lovely jubbly. Right, so just going to put the parking brake on. So we've got the radar. How do I get the weather radar on? So auto, weather turbulence +5, system left, weather radar not working. Oh well. Oh, maybe, weather radar on. There we go, auto weather +T. Right, so I think we're all ready to go, guys. Wind, as I said, 290, so coming in from the right here, so I'm going to have to use a little bit of left rudder to maintain center line, a little bit of aileron into wind on the rotation, keep the wings level, and that's about it. Let's reset the elapsed timer as well, because I know you guys are really hot on that. Reset. There we go, and it's set to run. Right, off we go then. Reese parking brake.
Right. On runway 25
I have
right.
no idea what the EBBR should be setting is. I'll go for about 40% N1. Right, that is stabilised. All looking good. Push toga. I'll add the thrust now. Set takeoff thrust. 1.3. Ooh, looks like I've got too much thrust set. I'm having to move the thrust manually. I did this the other day. Right, takeoff thrust set. Indications are all a bit more than we need. 80 knots checked. FMC message, great. At least it's nothing else. There's V1 and rotate. And we're airborne. Positive rate of climb, gear up, and onto the flight directors. Just going to reduce that thrust manually if I can to 1.32. Oh, it's commanding above 20 degrees, look. And trim. I can barely see these instruments. Let's zoom in a bit. So we're going to keep climbing like this until we get to 3,500 feet. And there we go. Cool, these flight directors are very sensitive. Let's get back up to them. Engine anti-ice on, please, first officer. That's why it's so difficult on a single pilot. I didn't get any climb thrust. I've definitely got the auto throttle on. Right, I think we'll get the autopilot in. Let's go command center. Vertical speed, interesting. Let's go flight level change and bug about 220 knots. There we go. I think it's now set climb thrust. Now, when do I select flap 1? Is it the F point to initiate flap retraction? No idea. I think that'll be a good idea to set it now. Flap 1. 220 knots. So maximum flap placard speed. I'm going to go flaps up, I think. There we are. Right, we'll go vertical speed, because we're going to climb up to flight level 60. Just usually wait until the flaps are completely up to do that. There we are. Vertical speed, let's set about 2,000 feet per minute, and we'll accelerate to 250 knots. And we can now do the after takeoff checklist. So, engine anti-ice, how do I turn that on? Yeah, start switches, lever continuous, engine anti-ice is on. Landing gear, oh, it's in off already. Air conditioning and pressurization, bleeds are on, packs are in auto, we've got duct pressure, diffs increasing, cabin altitude's pretty much the same. Am I meant to change? Yeah, someone said to me put it in that triangle, which I've done. There we go, slowly climbing, it looks okay. And altimeters, oh yeah, we're climbing to a flight level, so we need to make sure we've got standard set 1013. And we'll just go to 1,000 feet per minute. Level off at flight level 60, 1013, 1013, and 1013. There we are, after takeoff checklist, I think, is complete. I've got altitude alert FMC. Oh yeah, approaching 1 to go. What's the FMC message? Insufficient fuel. Right, with 2.8 tons. Well, that's sufficient, but it's actually less than my reserves, 3 tons. Better keep on climbing so we don't burn extra fuel. No idea why. I've used exactly the block fuel. Should be using insufficient fuel, that's for sure. Right, so approaching flight level 60 in clouds, engine anti-ice is on. We'll now climb up to flight level 1. We'll go straight up to our cruise level, which is flight level 370. So that is now set. VNAV. The EBBR, VNAV speed, LNAV command engage. Ugh, that's going to make you feel sick pulling up like that. It's quite aggressive. Okay, I think we're good. Standard set 1013. We can take the engine anti-ice off now. And start switches to off. I think we're good. After takeoff checklist complete, up we go. FMC message. Insufficient fuel. 2.9 tons. We needed a little bit more than that to divert to Barcelona. To get to Barcelona, our reserves were 3.3, so we've used a bit of extra fuel somehow. And let's turn up some. Turn some cockpit lighting on. Let's turn all this up. Glare shield.
50, 40,
Standby instruments.
30, 20.
No idea when these lights are. Dome lights on. Turn this light on. It's a bit dark in here. Thank you very much to Positive Rate for the £2 donation. Loving the stream. Just ate my Sunday lunch. You made it this week. Thank you very much, Positive Rate. Positive Rate's one of my members, and he's also the one who created the livery, which you can have a look at here outside. He's the one that made this for me, and his channel is linked to the video description below. And on the members only flight last weekend, he is the one who decided to jump the queue because his Sunday lunch was being served, which led to quite a lot of banter. But yeah, thank you very much, Positive Rate, for the continued support and the donation. Thank you. Right, there's altimeters passing flight level 102 for flight level 370. We'll do the pre-cruise checks. Thank you very much to Bank Angle, donated £4.19 as well. He's asking or stating that I should have a good flight, skipper. Well, thank you very much, Bank Angle. Hopefully I won't have any of those alarms going off for this flight. Glad you enjoy the content, and thank you very much for the donation. Right, so we are now climbing to our econ climb speed, which is 291 knots, and then we'll convert to Mach decimal 797 when we get a bit higher. We'll do the pre-cruise checks now. So fuel, 9 tons on board, so we burnt a ton already. Lights can now come off. APU's off, pressurization. We've got a diff pressure now, so it's definitely pressurising, I think, now. 3 psi, cabin altitude slowly climbing at just under 2,000 feet. The rest is all set. Seatbelts, they can come to auto. Recall, which is here. There we are, the pre-cruise checks are complete. And my operator, we also make sure we're monitoring 121.5 here, but as we're not on VATSIM, we wouldn't need to worry about such a thing, but it's there anyway. Cool. Wheel 185, approximate flight duration from airborne about 2 hours, so I'd say from now about 1 hour 50, 1 hour 45. Ati Matiline, can you fly to Helsinki one day? Yes, absolutely. We're still yet to visit Helsinki, but unfortunately there's no decent payware airport, I don't think. I always try and invest for you guys, for your benefit, into payware airports wherever I stream. So for example, I bought the Flight Factor, bought the Brussels scenery and the Mahon scenery, but I bought it all the last couple of days or so, so you can at least, it looks really good when we get there and stuff. Oh, we should have had a squidge of engine anti-ice on. Yeah, it's really dark, the lighting here. I don't know how to turn the brightness up on this bit. It wouldn't be that dark. Panel lighting, flood lighting. There's lights for everything here in the 757. Oh, this light on, look. These are all turned up, Is there a dome light somewhere? Oh no, don't want to deny the flight deck door.
50,
Not sure.
40, 30, 20.
Thank you very much again, Stuart, for another donation, £5. For your information, hit the forward cabin call button to listen to the annoying cabin attendant, then hit it loads and it kills him. What in the world? Alright, then hit the forward cabin call button to listen to the annoying cabin attendant. Alright, forward. Well, let's listen to him first. Oh, I keep flicking switches. What did I just flick there? Oh, wasn't fuel dumping or the rat or anything, was it? I flicked something there, I had no idea what it was. Right, so if I click this.
Sir, I think you might have forgotten about the cabin safety routine. I have nothing to say, sir. Oh dear God, leave me alone. Captain, why don't you try chewing your arm off?
What in the world? You programmed that? Unbelievable. Oh, crikey. Looks like something's morphing onto the windscreen there. That's looking pretty ominous. Let's just give it a little squeak with the wiper. There we are. Probably use a squidge of engine anti-ice. That is quite interesting. Yeah, whoever programmed that has a good sense of humour. Stuart will just keep going.
Oh, various gods, deities of the great spaghetti monster. I'm off to write a complaint letter to Austin.
Captain, I regret to inform you that a chief flight attendant has been killed.
The world. Oh dear. Well, yeah. So if I was to get that message, it'd be a little bit more alarming than that, but very amusing. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I like it when people have a good sense of humour programming stuff. FMC message still saying insufficient fuel. Still reckons 2.9. Oh, that's a point. I've not put any winds in here. We got to strike quite strong winds. Where's my flight plan? I need to put some winds in somehow. What was the average wind? 274 at 35, so quite strong at top climb. We should be going to, yeah, you can already see, look, we're into a 94 knot wind from the west here. Where do I put the winds in here? Index, performance. There's nowhere to put the winds. Legs, route data. Ah, winds. Okay. What's the first waypoint after top of climb? Let's stick a wind in. That should give us a bit more accurate data as we approach our cruise level. So yeah, we'll put in the average wind after top of climb. That's what we'd usually do during the pre-flight stage. Average wind component 274 at 35, and let's put that in at I don't know, Lesdo. Christ, I got winds for all these altitudes. 0, well, it's not 0. Average wind 274 at 35. You put them in at 3 altitudes? Oh, it's not letting me put any winds in. 370. Can you not change this? Shouldn't have to put flight level in the NG. Well, I can't change any of the data here. That's a bit of a shame. The Progress ETA might be a little bit off then, because obviously we can't put in accurate winds in the FMC unless I've missed something obvious. Engine anti-ice coming on as well. Start switches continuous. Engine anti-ice on. A little bit of cloud here. Well, already on top of it. I'll just remember to turn it off in a second. Gallipoli was a mistake. Thank you very much for the donation. £1.72. Thanks for that. No comment, no associated. Appreciate the donation nonetheless. Steve J, I don't think you can edit them. Ah, okay. And you don't think you can put descent winds in either. Right, okay. Number wind data isn't really working in the flight factor. Don't worry, fuel will be fine at some point. You should change the reserves in the FMC, though, as VNAV tends to go weird if you don't. Okay. Probably not programmed then. Seem to be climbing quite steadily as well. I mean, I typically expect to be a little bit higher. I guess that's because of the low D rate. Yeah, 86%. It's quite low. We'll just keep the engine anti-ice on for a little bit longer. I'd expect a slightly higher climb thrust and a higher rate of climb, but again, it might be a 7.5 thing. Oh, Freckles Aviation, I flicked the APU on, did I? Oh, crikey, I did. Oops. It says the APU generator's on. I don't think that should say on. It's also on the generators too. The engine. Oh, I pressed that thinking it might have done something funny, but APU's definitely off now. Oops. Danny Lewis, if you have a type rating for the 757, is it transferable to the 76? Yeah, I think it's a common type rating. I don't think there's any sort of conversion. I'm not 100% sure on that. But, I've got a good friend of mine who flies the 75. I didn't actually consult prior to this. I thought I'd just wing it. But I can remember him telling me they don't have the 76 in his fleet, but he has a type rating which covers both. Mike, can you explain EBBR? No. it's a engine. Well, I know the Rolls Royces will work off EBBR, but we got Pratt and Whitney's, but I don't exactly know what that setting is. It's to do with the pressure difference between the different stages. I just like big old fat N1. Rita, you can check the APU on the lower DU. I've not played with any of this. Engine status. APU GT0. Thanks for that, yeah. Hydraulic quantity. So on the 7376 is minimum for dispatch. 2,800 PSI, all looking good, all quantities fine. Cool. Anthony Murphy, what happens if the APU stays on in flight? Well, no, nothing really, Anthony. It would just run and use fuel. Obviously, you don't need it in flight. I have dispatched having to use the APU once on the 737 because one of the IDG generators on the engine was an operative, so you have to always have two sources of AC power. We had the left generator, I can't remember which engine it was. The left generator was powering the left bus, the APU was powering the right bus. And then if one of those is lost, if you're down to one source of AC power, you have to divert and land as soon as possible. Actually, I think if you go on my Instagram and scroll down, you'll see a picture of the flight I did when I had the APU, when I had the IDG inoperative, because there's lots of inop stickers on the up overhead panel, and there's some additional procedures to follow when you fly. Mike, APU is a turbine engine. Yes, it's a jet engine. It sits in the back. Swifty, can you please do a flyby view? Absolutely. I don't think the sounds are quite as good as some of the other add-ons. Some sort of rough Doppler effect there. Good crab angle on though. Yeah, the sounds are a little bit left to be desired, but they're okay. Like I said, I did only learn that the sound pack available is fine to use, and I should have downloaded it. But the exterior model is lovely. Looks really cool. Look at this. It's like Microsoft Flight Sim FSX and 2004. You know when you select your aircraft and it just pans around like that. You should be swinging it around with your mouse, couldn't you? Those are the days. Yeah, this is dark though. How do I brighten all this up? Isn't there a little light under here I can turn on? What's that say? Attention, Cat 2, Cat 3 component. I've got a funny feeling the developer of Flight Factor has got a few little Easter eggs in this aircraft. Dougal, thank you very much to whoever asked me about my employer. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, thank you very much for joining. But one thing I don't discuss is who I work for. My operator is something I keep to myself, and all my work is nothing to do with that. I just fly aircraft and flight sim based on the knowledge I've learned and use every single day. Freckles Aviation. Yeah, another one, and there's the VOR DME switch. Press it 10 times in a row. What, this switch? What's it going to do? It's not going to do anything like fail both the engines, is it? I don't want to do that. Cabin tour, air Scorpion. Yeah, we'll have a look at the cabin later on. Oh, everyone's pressed the VOR DME auto man transfer push button many times. Do it. So thanks, Lewis. John Rage, what was your most recent destination? Are you talking about in real life? I'm not going to discuss that because it'll give away my operator, but it's been a while. I'm actually on a seasonal contract with my operator, so I take the winter off. I'm actually back in 4 weeks' time. I've been off all of winter, which has been very nice in a way. It's been very relaxing, being able to get a lot of things done. For example, we're moving house in a couple of months' time, which we're very excited about. But I am very much looking forward to going flying again, albeit there's been a lot of disruptive weather in Europe at the moment. So, actually, the Canary Islands today, I think there's been a lot of dust storms and sandstorms, which is affecting operations down there. So I'm quite happy to do it. Do it, your engines won't suffer. Push it, press the button, do it. It's just like when we're flying the Airbus again, when you guys are going, push it, pull it. Alright then. But 10 times, did you say? Oh god, what am I letting myself into? Oh! That's quite funny. Now how do I put it back? Oh my goodness. I don't think that's how it works in real life. Oh no. There we go. Very amusing. Lol, it broke. Absolutely. Dear me. Right, so that's 30,000. We usually set the bank angle to 10 degrees, but I'll just leave it in the auto setting here, in the 7.5. But otherwise, it's a really nice add-on. Yeah, I've never flown the 7.5, but applying the Boeing 7.3 checklist works reasonably well, and I've been told the systems on this are second to none. I've got a friend who did a type rating on the 7.5. He said he used this, said it's brilliant, really, really good. So yeah, I recommend buying it? Absolutely, I guess, if you want to fly this aircraft. But yeah, I've not done a full flight in it. This will be kind of like my kind of test and review, but so far very impressed with how it all works. Although I can't get the winds in here, but yeah, the FMC seems otherwise quite complete. Guys, you obviously know all these Easter eggs. You trying to get me to find all of them. 2 tons of flood. Do you have the floodlights all the way up? Yeah, like I said, it's looking very dark. I don't know if it's because the sun's behind me. No, it should be a little bit brighter in here. Well, I suppose it's not illuminating there, but I wouldn't expect it to be that dark. Where was the floodlights? Panel flood. They're all up here. Light overboard? No, that's not done anything. Lights? No. Logo, flight deck door, cabin. Let's just turn all these up as far as they go. That's the map light. I don't need that on. Let's turn that one off. No, I think it's all set to the highest settings. VOR, yeah, put that back to, yeah, thank you very much. Put it back to auto. Yeah, I think that just tunes en route frequencies for you, and I guess I don't have to do anything. But yeah, we're making slow progress. I'd expect to be in the 7.3, even if you're quite heavy, you'd be at your top of climb around 20 to 23 minutes. Well, yeah, we're expected to be. Floods on the left hand side, sorry if I missed it. These two that you twisted before have an inner knob and an outer knob. Yeah, that's a little bit brighter, isn't it? Has that illuminated any lights under here? Yeah, that's a little bit better, isn't it? Oh, I didn't even realise that. Well, I noticed it, but I didn't know you could operate it. Positive rate, the worst part of the 757 is the EFIS panel. Yeah, it's down here, which is a bit annoying. So when you're having to play with it, you have to look down. Weather radar, where's the tilt on that? Weather radar control, you put that down now. You typically have it down -1 in the cruise. Don't expect any en route weather today, though. Trains, planes and games. Hi, I've just joined. Where are you flying? We're flying to Menorca, the island of Menorca. To Mahon, popular... Caribbean, what about Mediterranean islands? You've got Ibiza, Palma and Mahon are the 3 main islands in the middle. Douglas, Linda, if you're cleared to a specific waypoint, how do you use it in the FMC? Well, I'll kind of demonstrate that now if you want. Let's imagine ATC said, okay, Alpaca 01 route direct to Decod. I'm guessing it's exactly the same as the 737. You just line select key the waypoint, bring it to the top, execute. And then, there you go, look, we're in a left turn towards Decod now. hellish complicated in the Airbus. Don't ask me to do it in that. Right, approaching 1 to go. Nice quick cruise, Mach decimal 80. Well, I stopped getting the FMC messages for insufficient fuel. It's at 2.9. Oh look, it's jumped up loads now. 3.5. That's what I'd expect. It was 2.9 before. Yeah, reserves are 3.2 to get to Barcelona. So we're arriving there with 300 kilos extra. Not much, but that's what I'd expect. Car de joie, maybe an A300 stream there, Captain, when INI Simulations A300 comes out. If it's a good Airbus A300, I'll do it. I kind of want to only do streams in kind of well-modelled aircraft, if you know what I mean. There are some not-so-good aircraft out there. Check the iPad, I think you can turn up the overall brightness in the settings. Well, I mean, it's bright enough for me now. It was really dark before. That's much better. There we are, at the cruise, flight level 370. I am running the stream a little bit behind live time. In fact, it was meant to be 9:13. I thought I set it exactly to 8:04. It should be 8:04. What to my time in the sim has gone well off there. I can change it here. 9:10. 9:03. There we go, only 2 minutes off now. So we're running the stream at 8 hours behind live time. So top of climb in 5 miles. We're at top of climb. So underestimated the point on the ND there. Not to worry. Descent then. No, it doesn't give you any information about top of descent. Well, there we go. Mahon at 10:31. So if you're interested, 10:31. It's 9:04. We're going to be landing in just under an hour and 30 minutes. Christian, you can see me on Project Fly's radar. Very cool. Yeah, I use their overlay, so you can have information about the flight on there. The ETA at the top here, not 100% accurate, because it just looks at the way the aircraft's flying as the kind of crow flies. We're going to be flying a DME arc onto runway 01 today, so you'll see the ETA change up there. The one in the FMC in-game is going to be far more accurate. Perfect. Let's have a look. God, 15 dislikes, damn you. I don't know who these people are. I always same with everyone though. I'm watching some other streamers and they seem to always get loads of dislikes. But 389 likes, appreciate that. But I'm trying to get up to 757 likes to the stream. I think we might struggle, but if you do enjoy the content, want to stay up to date, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to keep up to date with the latest Flight Data Sim content. Approaching 40,000 subscribers. The channel has gone a long, long way. But yeah, I'll be going to work, back to work in 4 weeks' time. So I'll probably have to cut down on the streams. I mean, I've been out on average, I think at least 1 a week, sometimes 2 at the moment, because I don't have much on outside of work. But with the house move and all that stuff, it's been keeping me reasonably busy. But yes, I'll keep you updated. Thank you very much to Canadian Airsoft Unlim for the donation, 10 Canadian dollars. That's very generous, thank you. Been watching you for a while, never really donated since I'm based in Canada. It's so catching you live is hard sometimes, but I finally made it. Well, thank you very much all the way from Canada for your donation there. Yes, I do try my best. Obviously, I can't accommodate everyone, but I know streaming at the weekend at around this time is when I'm going to catch most of you. So a lot of you obviously work during the week or at school during the week. This sort of time, 4 o'clock onwards, everyone, US coast, Canada, South America are awake. It's my guys in Australia I feel sorry for because they never probably get to see it live. I did do a stream at 9 o'clock in the morning once, which caught a lot of the Australian guys. But yeah, I'm glad you could at least make it this one live, Canadian Airsoft Unlim. Thank you very much for the donation as well. Yeah, sorry, cabin tour. Yeah, it did say I was going to do a cabin tour, so let's have a look around. So I did learn this from one of the guys in Discord. We need to unlock the cabin door, which is something we don't generally do. So let's go to unlock. That will allow us to open the door. There we are. And now let's go for a wander. So here we are in the Ford Galley. It's a little bit bigger than the 7.3. Here's first class. Alpaca Premium we call this. Look at the size of the seats as well and the spacing. No wonder I can only get 170 people in here, but the Flight Factor is fully loaded with regards to passengers. Here's the centre cabin, it's where they often do boarding. And here we are in the economy section. Still got the classic 80s, 90s fabric seats, which are a nightmare to keep clean. And there you are. Nice little bit of rumble from all the air. You can hear a bit of chit chat as well going on. Open the cabin door. No. Now flying over. Oh, those are the clouds gone. There we go. Flying over France at the moment, no doubt. Looking good. Nothing on the in-flight entertainment today, I'm afraid. Only myself. 4 toilets at the back, and there's the rear galley. No doubt there's probably some other hidden Easter eggs, but that is the cabin. Let's get that door shut for security reasons, and lock it. There we go. Perfect. And Mika Banjai Fly Dude, you've never been on a 757. No, there's not many flying around. Obviously the 74's dying out, but there's still a few. I went on the 75 only 2 months ago. Thank you very much again for donating 2 tons of love. That's £5. Is this the start of Alpaca Airways subsidiary Classic Alpaca, where holidaymakers can travel the past in the 72, 732, 757 DC3 and the upcoming Tupolev stream? Thank you very much, 2 tons of love. Yes, this is a subsidiary or offcut of Alpaca Airways mainline. We only operate aircraft which no one else really wants to operate. So yes, the Tupolev no doubt, and the 737-200. Not too many of those fly around. Thank you very much again, 2 tons of love for the continued support as well. Appreciate that. Freckles Aviation, the 75 and 74 are planes I aim to fly on prior to retirement. Yeah, the 74, British Airways still have quite a large 747 operation, but they are being phased out for the 78 and 8. Well, they've got some A380s and the 7, and again the Airbus A350 as well. Logcat, you flew on one new 7. Awesome. Snapshot says there'll be a mercenary offshoot soon. Hope you're doing well as well, my friend. Stuart asked that you were cabin crew in 1996 on the 757-200 with Britannia. Very nice. Cool. So what else can... I mean, yeah, once you're up here, low workload. Al Navinav's doing his job, monitoring the flight plan. Everything's on CPDLC now with regards to RT above 29,000 feet, so you communicate using the FMC. I'm still yet to use that system, but when I go up I'll show you the CPDLC. I still need to practice using it myself. So that'll be a steep learning curve when I go flying. Tesla got actually, no, Tupolev is not pronounced Tupolev, it's pronounced Tupolev. Tupolev, that's it. Is it like that? I think I will need to practice that. I will stream that at some point. Khan Sengiz, what are you using for clouds, Captain? They look terrific. I do have an X-Vision preset from one of our Discord members, and no people have asked for that. I need to ask Richard if I can share that with you guys, because it is his personal one. I certainly know it's in the Discord download section, but I will ask him if it is to be able to use. I'll post a link to my Google Drive for you to download it. Christian Montesano, do you have any good-looking flight attendants on board your flight? There was all male crew today. Christian. David Patrick, hi Flight Sim, loving your virtual escapades. When your operator sends you for sim training, what was the trickiest scenario your examiner ever set to you? Oh, David, good question. I mean, they're quite... we do 2 training days in the winter, 1 in the summer. And it's quite a fixed format, but things do change. You know, over the course of 3 years, we look at different things each time. I've got mine coming up before I go back on the line. A lot of the really tough stuff isn't actually examined, so a lot of it's like putting yourself in a training environment. One of the things we do is expose crew to smoke. I mean, I'm not an instructor anymore, but I used to instruct in the sim, but we are exposed to a smoke situation or uncontained fire. That's quite dynamic, quite challenging. The rapid depressurization is always quite challenging as well, because that has to be done in quite methodically correctly. And it's always a lot of startle with that. You know, all of a sudden it happens, and you can be a bit slow to react. So you kind of react to that. Obviously, in the confines of a full motion simulator, you don't have any of the physiological effects with that. But yeah, we have to do a circle to land every 6 months. That's always demanding. Have to nail that. Make sure you're stabilised, of course. But yeah, there's nothing that I can specifically remember being really difficult. When I did the command upgrade, one of the most difficult things I did was a total loss of AC power, where you're only down to the battery, and that is quite difficult because you're quite limited with what you can do. You've got no automation, there's no AC power available, APU doesn't work, and it's just got to try and fly this aeroplane. And it's difficult. I remember that being quite challenging. There's checklists to try and restore AC power, but there's no checklist to get you on the ground if there's no power available. There's loads of stuff that doesn't work properly. But yeah, that was definitely challenging. Thank you very much to James, who's just joined as a member on my channel. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. You'll now get exclusive Flight Factor Sim content, all available for the members only Discord. And if you need any assistance with that, type in Google YouTube Discord synchronization and talk you through the procedure to get them on board. It's all completely automated. Drax, around how long did it take you to become a commercial pilot in the 737? From finishing my flight training to starting my type rating was about 6 months, about 5 or 6 months or so, and I was very fortunate to have my first airline job. If you're in the US, of course, which I know a lot of you are from, you need to get your 1500 hours. Not the case in Europe. So I was flying around a 737 with, I remember it was 200, 300 hours or so, which some people argue is not safe. I know there's a lot of people in the US are not a fan of that, and they put down a lot of incidents in the US down to inexperienced crew. I certainly found from training, yes, experience is extremely important, but it's not always a measure for ability. I like to think that when I was quite inexperienced, I was good at my job and could have dealt with most situations. Of course, the more you learn as you develop to become a captain, the more you're exposed to, the better you get. But it's not always based on experience. A lot of it is, but I'm telling you, I was a TRI an SFI for 2 years, and I taught guys with 15, 20, 25,000 hours, and in some instances, some of those guys weren't quite as good as the low-hour guys, or really, but obviously not very far and few between. But it's not always a gauge for ability.
30.
Thank you very much, BT Fly, for the donation. I have no idea what currency that is, but I've got 149 of them. Thank you very much, my friend. Hello, Captain. Why do you prefer X-Plane 11 and not prepared? Very common question on my live streams. I transitioned from FSX. When I started my channel, I only knew FSX, and I was making tutorials there, and someone invited me to X-Plane 11 to try out the Zebo mods, and I've always thought that X-Plane 11 wasn't up to scratch. I always knew it dynamically, it was quite good, but I think X-Plane 11 brought a lot of significant updates to the user interface, the usability of the sim. And when I started flying around in the Zebo mod, I was shocked at how good it was replicating flight. That is X-Plane 11, and how I think PlaneMaker, you can build an aircraft like this, and it uses the flight model in X-Plane 11, and the aircraft handle as expected. For example, the Zebo mod, I've obviously flown hundreds of hours in, thousands, I don't know now. The pitch power settings work really well, so when you're flying around in X-Plane 11, dynamically it's far more realistic. Prepared and FSX are too linear. Everything flies on train lines. I remember with the PMDG, brilliant add-on. I would never ever berate the PMDG, but like all aircraft in Prepared and FSX, they kind of fly artificially. So if you let go, it just goes in a straight line. Like dynamic crosswind conditions, not very well modelled. Now, if you look a couple of streams ago when we were flying around in Storm, I remember what it was. There's so many storms now. The one before Dennis, Storm Kira, that was it. When we were flying around in Storm Kira in the live stream now, I did a 25 knot crosswind into Leeds. X-Plane 11 was really good at replicating that, really dynamic. I'll get you a link to that video as well. And the kind of crosswind techniques I applied would be exactly the same as I'd expect to apply in the real aircraft. It was really impressive. And I've noticed that in lots of flights there. I'll send you the link here to that stream. But have a look at the landing in Leeds, and I'm not showing that because I did actually manage to flukily butter it as well at the same time, but that's obviously not the number one priority when we're doing those sort of landings. But that's one of the main reasons I use only X-Plane 11. There's the link to the stream, but have a look at the landing in Leeds. You just don't get that with the other simulators. LV100 Shobe, do pilots turn on the seatbelt sign if they want to stop with the hassle of picky passengers to make a buckle in thinking you have to? Not really. If the cabin crew call me up and say, look, can we have the seatbelt sign on because, you know, there's something happening in the cabin, or usually for whatever reason, yeah, absolutely. They're the ones that would advise us of what's going on there, because we're obviously sat down in the seat. Will Devi, did you go for the integrated or modular? I went integrated, Will Devi. I was going to go modular, but back in 2009, 2010, it was allegedly preferred by the airlines for a cadet to be on, or a student to be on, an integrated course on a modular. I've learned for that not to be true, and I could have saved myself quite a lot of money. Which thankfully I've paid all that flight training loan off over the first kind of 6-7 years. I joined my operator, but yeah, I went integrated. It's obviously a lot more intensive, gets you done quicker, but at the end of the day you finish with the same thing, so I don't think it makes any difference. Sandeep, are you considering flying the alpacas to homeland, South America sometime, perhaps a long haul with the 7.6? Let me know in chat. I mean, I've avoided long haul for two reasons. I don't think it's that fun for you to watch and see me chatter away for, well, 4 hours. The longest flight we did was Bristol to Lanzarote in the 200, which I did really enjoy, but I think you guys would rather see me do 2 sectors generally. When I'm flying an aircraft like this for the first time, I just do the 1 sector from A to B, just to like try it out and stuff, and I haven't got the time for 2 sectors, so I'm going to play poker later with my neighbour. Our neighbours are very good friends of ours now, and we're going around there to play poker, which I'm looking forward to, actually. Nicholas, have you done a university degree as well as your flight training? Is it necessary to have? I didn't go to university, but where I trained, Oxford Aviation Academy, they offered a foundation degree on the side with Buckinghamshire University Air Transport Management, which I did. You know, it was just something to do on the side, gave me some work, and I have it's just a foundation degree. But no, university, you know, if you really want to be a pilot, it's not required. A lot of people I trained with did go to university, some people didn't. I never did. For me, some part of me wishes I'd gone to university, but I can tell you it would have been very much for the wrong reasons, not the right ones. Thankfully I got to enjoy a lot of the wrong reasons my friend went to university, especially on the first year. Lots of all I do is to drink and go out and not do any work. I got to enjoy some of that, but no, still have, you know, glad I didn't do it, if you know what I mean. Part of me does wish, yeah, I could have had some fun, but you know, I was very fortunate to get a place at the flight training school. Very willing parents, willing to get the loan out and secure it against the family home, and yeah, I'm very grateful to be in the position I am now. Planet Planes, on a scale of 1 to 50, how hard would you rate your training? Well, it depends how much effort you put in. It's doable, you put the work in. Some people find it harder than more. I'd say 30 out of 50. Oh, making excellent progress. Should probably do a fuel check, really. See how good this burn is. Coming towards Guru. Lima Foxtrot Bravo Kilo. Now, where is that? I can't remember the exact dial code. Thankfully, we have our Avitab map. I wish I had this in real life. LEMH. That's not Lima Foxtrot Bravo Kilo. But yes, we're heading off towards here, and here is where we're going. This is Mahon. We've been to Ibiza, we've been to Palma de Mallorca, and here is Mahon. I have flown into Menorca in real life, landed here. Not for many years, but I've done a few times. Making excellent progress. Jamie Evers, what's the largest plane you've ever flown? Real life, 737. That's only a commercial aircraft I've ever flown. 2 tons of love, yeah, I'll check that fuel burn calculation overhead the next waypoint, Guru. Nudge me if I forget in the chat. Wacko Warner, how much did the training cost? Oh, it was around. It was including accommodations. God, lots. It was around 75,000, I think it was. I had a little bit of inheritance, but then most of that was a loan. A loan over £55,000 I took, which I had to pay back every single penny of. Matt Brawner, are you going to try Microsoft Flights in 2020 when it comes out? I have a copy. I am in the. I have an alpha copy of that game. I can't go into any more detail. Everyone has that has an undisclosure agreement, and I am testing it. And yeah, when it's released, obviously we'll try streaming it and see what happens. Tesla guy, you could buy a Tesla, yeah, but then I wouldn't be an airline pilot. It's a great shame, you know. I wasn't in the position, or family wasn't in the position to pay for that, and I had to really convince them it's what I wanted to do. I know it's a lot more now as well, but there are some limited schemes funded by the operators, which is good. But yeah, I was very fortunate. As you well know, a lot of you know, I worked, I finished my A-levels, and I was already working the same job. I sold chickens at Morrison's for 3 years. Really, I worked pretty much nearly full-time when I finished as well, doing at least 30 hours a week whilst I was doing my PPL, because I did that on the side. But yeah, I had to grit down, and a lot of the money I saved while I was still living with my parents was during my time working at Morrison's, and I saved up quite a bit of change for that. Pretty much covered all my living expenses during my flight training. 2 simultaneous donations coming in. Thank you very much again, Carl, for your continued generosity. $30. I have to get the boys out. Hope to be back before landing. Donating now in case I don't make it in time. Well, Carl, thank you very much. Enjoy taking K9 out, and thank you again for your continued support and donation. And I hope you're making a speedy, continued recovery as always. And have a good front walk with the dogs. Mr. Swedish Piano coming in with another donation, 255 Norwegian krona. Thank you again. This is becoming a thing now. Yeah, absolutely. Need to hear my name at least once. Working on the ramp tonight, so can't watch you live. Cry emoji. Happy landings, he says. Well, Mr. Swedish Piano, thank you very much. You can hear your name again. Thank you for the donation. I hope you have a pleasant shift tonight. It's not too wet, not too rainy, wherever you are, and you're keeping warm. Thank you very much for the continued support there. Very, very kind. Danny12, I have a question. I have 3.5. I know what you mean, because I wear glasses too. On both eyes, left and right, can I become a pilot? I've read that the maximum is +5, but if it's +5 on each eye, +5 both eyes. Danny12, I wouldn't worry about that. So long as you can see with your corrective lenses, it's not an issue at all. I'm quite short-sighted. I wear contact lenses though. I'm -3 point something in one eye and -2.75. So, and as long as you can see with your corrective lenses, it's never an issue. You can either wear glasses or contact lenses, and you have to always have a spare pair. That's the only requirement on your medical. So I wear contact lenses. I carry 2 spare pairs of glasses with me and a spare pair of contact lenses all the time in my flight bag. But I shouldn't worry about that. Military-wise, I have no idea, but certainly the CAA. The limit, I'm not sure about. That 5 rings a bell somewhere as being a limit of some sorts. Ben Harper, please don't keep posting the same message. Yeah, don't repeat the question. I'll try my best to get the chat. I can see your question here, Ben. Hi, Captain. How long after flight school did you get your first airline job? 6 months. Since 6 months. That's how long it took. Freckles Aviation, £2 donation. Thank you very much there. Will you do the CTP on the 4th of April if schedule permits? CTP, what's that? Am I missing something quite obvious? CTP? I'm not sure what that is, Freckles Aviation. Is that an event on VATSIM or something regarding my work? I have no idea. Sorry, I can't help you there. Cross the pond, thank you. Cross the pond, probably not, because I mean, that'd be hellish boring for you guys to watch, wouldn't it? I mean, we'd be doing what we're doing now for 6-7 hours. It'd be quite good fun to try and get the Zebo mod across. We'll see. It's the biggest biannual event on VATSIM. Well, it would be a shame to miss it, I suppose. I'll have a think about it. It's actually a good point, because... let's just do a fuel check at Guru here, see how we're getting on. So, 6.3 tonnes on board. And how do I see how much fuel I've burned? There we are. No, so I looked at this earlier. 3.7 tons. Let's have a look at what it says on the flight plan. I'll get rid of all these Brussels charts. Charts. Guru. There we are. So 6240 we should have. We've got 6.3. Look at that. 3485 we should have burnt. Oops, didn't mean to push that. And it was 3.7. I think that's pretty close. 3485. So we burnt a little bit more. It could be due to the fact that the winds are so strong. Remember, we got quite a strong head. We had a headwind there, so I'd say the fuel burn is pretty close to what I'd expect. So, good job for Flight Factor there. Mark Sputnik, thank you again for donating 5 Hungarian flying. I think that is. Thank you very much. Can't watch it until the end. So let us have a sangria now. Always cool people in your stream, and funny idea the member group flights. Well, thank you very much. Glad you enjoy the content, and well, I hope I can't remember if you're a member or not at all, but if you are, I hope you can join the next group flight in a few weeks' time. Thank you very much, Mark, for the continued support and another donation there. Very good. How many likes are we up to this video? I have to click on actually on the stream now. We're up to 505 likes. Very good, guys. Thank you very much for everyone that's attended and joined. If you have just joined, don't forget to push that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the content. I am trying to get up to 757 likes to berate those awful people who dislike the video because they've got nothing else better to do. Such idiots. Thank you. Trains, planes and games, do you prefer Airbus to Boeing? I'm a Boeing guy. Very much so. But I do see the qualities of the Airbus, of course. But no, it's only because I know how to fly the Boeing. But I was always a Boeing guy. I was very fortunate when I did my flight training to have offered a job on an Airbus operator as well. But I went for the Boeing because I wanted to fly for the Boeing aircraft. So. And I have no regrets over that still. Haters gonna hate, Will185 says. Absolutely. Captain Scarlet, what version is that? Are you referring to this 7.5? It's the latest one, 2314. I think that is what you could be referring to. Oh, CHF is not Hungarian currency, it's Swiss francs. Ah, sorry. I still don't know my donations. Jonathan Strud, you want a net 757 likes? No! Maximum more! 1,000 million likes! But that's the target. Ethan's Aviation, do you prefer the 737 or 75? You know what, if I had the opportunity to fly this, I'd probably love to take that on. Because they don't sort of do... in Europe, they sort of do a lot of kind of high density routes instead of long flights. I've got no ambition or will to do long haul at all. Very much enjoy my kind of home life, time at home with friends, doing stuff at home. It's not as glamorous as it sounds, but I've got friends that do it and they do enjoy it. So it's not for everyone, certainly not for me, but I have no ambition. I'd love to be able to go and fly a wide body. If someone said, yeah, you can fly the wide body, have a go, I'd obviously take that on that offer, but I don't want to do that long term. FWT, do you ever fly to Schiphol? My operator does, but I've never flown. Michael Legg, what is your favourite airport? Well, yours is Birmingham and Innsbruck. I really enjoy flying to Malta. Malta's one of my favourite flights. It's a nice length, not too crazy, not like the Canaries from the UK. So 3 hours is a nice flight time. Enough time to kind of have a bit of a chat with the guy next to you, catch up, read up on a few things, and then go back. Ben Harper, whereabouts in the country are you based? I don't disclose any information about where I live, where I'm based, or who my operator is. That is something I maintain, only knowing myself, which I think most of you accept. I do get the occasional non-believer in, but feel free not to believe. But I think I've been doing this long enough now for most of you to know that I am the real deal. Out on 911, if there's a dual engine failure after takeoff and there is not enough speed and altitude to land back at the airport, what should you do? Well, Alton, if you do, this is a thing. when you did your PPL, you were never told to turn around and go back. In an aircraft like this, if you are high enough, you know, have quite a steep angle, then you might have the opportunity to turn around and go back. You know, if you're low enough, if up at 100 feet, there's not much you can do. You just lower the nose and you've got to land straight ahead, whatever's there. You know, you're very limited. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. It's getting it down safely. And obviously, if you've got the height, if you have a dual engine failure here, there's quite a few options available. You know, it'll take us 20-25 minutes to get down. Lots of airports around it. You've got all the assistance from ATC. I'd like to think if that was to happen to us, you know, I'd get down no problem. But immediate after takeoff, very limited with your options. Thank you very much to James, who just donated £5. Thank you very much indeed. I missed the start, Captain. Did you match the zero fuel weight with sim brief? I find that passenger weight doesn't match and I have to fiddle with cargo weight to get it to match. James, exactly right. I was exactly the same. I know you can change the passenger weight in the sim brief, but all I did, I'll show you here. If I go to, I guess, ground, I had to put 2,200 kilos to match up the weight in sim brief for the zero fuel weight. So you can see, look, the zero fuel weight is 77,756. It's now here 77.8, I think it was. 77.8, there you go. So yeah, it's within 100 kilos. When we get the real flight plan, we obviously get a fixed zero fuel weight like this as well. And it's usually quite close to that, but sometimes obviously not all the passengers turn up, so the zero fuel weight can be, more often than not, it's slightly less than the flight plan, because some passengers don't turn up at the gate, there might be 10 passengers down, there might be some cargo that doesn't need taking, so generally speaking the final zero fuel weight is a little bit less, which is always good, because that means you're going to burn less fuel. 4DX, you made this 757. It's by a company called Flight Factor. There is a link to the aircraft in the video description below. Another question regarding the Tupolev. I'm trying to pronounce that correctly. Will that be added to the main fleet? It says AVFWT. Yes, we are going to fly the Tupolev at some point. The lads at Mahon, do you ever worry you won't pass your medical? Not really. I'm not as active as I should be. I am working, and my partner and I are working to be more active. But you know, unless you've got something that could seriously harm you, you know, you could always have something that's found on your next medical which could harm you there. But I have insurance for that situation, so you know, if I was to lose my medical, couldn't fly, I'm covered both for my mortgage and I get a lump sum payment with insurance. So from a financial point of view, there's nothing to worry about. I'd have to think of something else to do as a career. Oh, you never know. You know, if I lost my medical, I could become a full-time. What do we call ourselves? A content creator. I could become a full-time streamer. But no, that is not in my intention. I very much like to do this occasionally whilst flying aircraft, but certainly been streaming a lot more than the last few months than I have been before. Oh, Connor Martin, fun today at working, telling passengers they won't be flying to Las Palmas today because of the dust storms. Yeah, we actually got an email from my operator on my company iPad saying you can expect a lot of disruption in the Canary Islands today from those winds. What are they called? They're called is it Calima winds? I've never heard them, but essentially I think the westerly winds are blowing all the dust from the Sahara, and it's causing all sorts of issues there. Now, you can operate in dust and sand. There is kind of supplementary procedures for that, but they're kind of quite strict in what you can do. You know, I think my operator, I can't remember off the top of my head, but if the visibility of the dust is below 600 meters, or if it's saying there's heavy sandstorms, you can't land or fly there. I've never been exposed to that, very rare. But yeah, we have supplementary procedures to deal with those situations. But you know, sand. Well, you know what a sand could do if you've got a sand blaster. The sort of damage it could do to aircraft would be quite widespread. Damage the engines, all the leading edges. Nothing that you want to have to do. But yeah, I didn't know if that was actually the case. One of my friends was meant to be flying today, I think to Tenerife, but he was talking to me about it. He said he wasn't looking forward to it. Ben Harper, have you ever flown for one airline? Again, Ben, I know you're probably very interested to know who I work for, what I've done, but questions regarding my personal life and my operator are simply not answered, Ben. So let that be a kind of warning. If you keep firing at it, one of the guys might chuck you out. So don't keep pestering with those sort of questions. I will answer any other question about commercial aviation where needed or when requested, but things about my operator, who I work for, where I work, will not be answered. Newbie CZE's donated £10. I think that's short for check, not sure, but thank you very much for your generous donation. Glad you're enjoying the content. Again, thank you for donating. That's not the first time you've done that. Whitebuck, is it comparable to volcanic ash? No, volcanic ash is very damaging. Volcanic ash, yeah, you do not want to fly through a volcanic ash cloud, a thick volcanic ash cloud. I can't remember the flight number. There was a BA 747. I think they lost all 4 engines at one point over in Indonesia years ago. They managed to relight 1 or 2, but the entire aircraft was essentially sandblasted. They couldn't even see out the windscreen, but they managed to get that down. Thank you very much, 2 tons of love. You're pulling out exactly the one I'm referring to there. Yes, it does melt the engines. What happens? The volcanic ash, it goes into the aircraft, it heats up, and it turns into sort of like glass, a glassy substance on the turbines and on the compressor stage. So it really, yeah. I'd far rather fly, well, rather fly through neither. But if I had the choice of a sandstorm or volcanic ash, I'd go for the sandstorm. But firstly, I'd go for neither. Dube 849, what vertical speeds are used to climb to cruise? Well, we don't really fly a fixed vertical speed. We fly a fixed thrust setting in the climb, and then the aircraft pitches for a speed. But it's not unusual to get rates of climb in excess of 5,000 feet per minute when you're quite light. But yeah, generally the initial rate of climb is quite high, and as we get higher, the engines become well, there's less thrust, there's less air, so the rate of climb decreases. Descents usually depends how fast you fly. We generally go with idle thrust or no thrust, and then we pitch for a speed, but rates of descent 3,000-4,000 feet, sometimes slightly higher, especially if you're accelerating, are not unusual. BAW, yeah, British Airways Flight 9 over Java Island, yeah. I remember reading into that a long time ago. Freckles Aviation, I was selling at a car boot sale. That's something I need to do soon, actually. And the person next to me got into small talk. He turned out to be a friend of the captain on BA Flight 9, and I got to speak to him on the phone. Awesome, that's pretty cool. We have a Discord member who couldn't make it today, but his sister, you know, bless her, she passed. She was killed in the what is it? The Takeoff air disaster. It's really sad. He was telling us about it the other day. He's one of the members. But yeah, all a small world there. A lot of stuff was learned from that flight. Anyway, let's keep an eye on. There we are, making nice progress. Still at 37,000 feet, approaching Gaillac, approaching the south coast of Spain. We are running the sim, as you well know, 8 hours behind live time. So it's 5:40 in the UK in the evening, but 9:40 here in the sim. So we are going to be touching down at around, this is, we're going to do a 180 degree turn, basically land on the northerly runway at 10:30. So we're landing in approximately 50 minutes from now. Aviation 365, will you fly an E-Jet sometimes? Is that an Embraer? I don't know if there's any decent one for the sim. I know people want me to fly that. We've got the Mad Dog. I think by far at the moment, the most requested at the moment is the Mad Dog. The MD-80, the Tupolev. Everyone wants to fly the Tupolev. There's a Concorde, Comolita Concorde. Obviously, I try and jump in the Zebo mod as often as I can, especially in the gnarly weather. But we'll probably do an impromptu stream next week in that. But yeah, I don't know what we'll do next. I leave it to the guys in Discord usually. Sometimes I just pick the aircraft myself. So I brought it up. Let's do the Flight Factor, because I think this one was the most requested one prior to any of the others. Mickey Adventure Flighter, you want to see me fly a turboprop? Oh, crikey. I don't know if it's any good one. There's a King Air that came out in X-Plane 11 recently, isn't there? I don't know what the most decent turboprop is. Tim Skipper, the Concorde would be epic. Yeah, I think the Concorde would be quite a good one, and chuffing hard. I love that word, chuffing. Yeah, it will be. Sandeep Singe, do your company follow the general rule that says during the final 1,000 feet to cruise level, the vertical speed should be usually 1,000 feet per minute or less? Yes, we do, Sandeep, but that is to prevent any nuisance TAs, traffic advisories. Twin Otter, there's a DC-6 as well, TBM 900s, all these aircraft. Hotstart TBM, I've heard of that one. I think that's been requested a few times too. Not me, thank you very much for the donation. £1 high. I think I found out where you work. Again, keep that to yourself. Congratulations to you. In one tutorial, you did say on the FMC that shows the company where your captain is connected with fuel, but if you want to keep it secret, it's okay. Well, very kind, not me. Thank you very much for the £1 donation. Yes, I'm sure most of you could hazard a guess at who I work for, and you'd probably be right, but it's something, again, I don't discuss, regardless if you donate £1, £100, £1 million. Well, thank you, but it's something I'd never, ever would disclose, but thank you for your donation, nonetheless. Benton Woodrum, did you fly smaller planes during your flight training, or did you start the 737? No, of course I flew a light aircraft. You don't go straight onto the 73. There are some courses, I think EasyJet did an MPS, whatever course, where you don't actually fly solo at any point. But no, I did my PPL on the Cessna 150, 152, 172, hour building in the UK, about 150, 160 hours. Then on the integrated flight school, we went Piper, so I flew the Warrior for the up to the CPL. Then I flew the Seneca for the CPL and IR, the Seneca 2s, and then straight onto the 73. So I think I joined my operator with around, it was 250, 300 hours or so. Plane, if you leave the turboprops until Flight Sim 2020. Yeah, I mean, we've done a light aircraft stream. We took out the we've taken out an electric plane once, the Contraventus from V Skylabs, which is a good laugh, across the English Channel, and we've also flown a Robin DR 400. I think it was 400 into Courchevel, which is quite amusing too. But yeah, I think I can't go into much detail, but Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, it will be a great opportunity to do some GA for sure. Michael's Bremner, are you into Star Wars? I do enjoy the films, not mad crazy. I've not seen any of the latest ones or the final one. Very much a fan of the classics though. Yes, Carter, I did see Fly Jason were making a Dash 8. That would be amusing. Oh, turboprops. I've never flown turboprop. Joe Worrell, I know you fly a Boeing in real life, but the 7576 is very hard to fly. Do you use a checklist? If so, please can you send it to me, because I've brought it, but I have no idea how to fly it. Joe, I just applied. There is a checklist here, I think, so if you're interested in getting the aircraft, I've not looked at it, but I think they have a look, you can have a checklist here, so it'll get you up and running. I didn't use it. I just applied the 737 flight. It worked. There are some subtle differences. It's kind of got like an Airbus overhead panel up here with no switches. They're all push buttons, but it is sort of roughly the same. There wasn't much different. But if you can fly the 73, it's not that much difference between the 73 and the 75. That's the beauty with a kind of common fleet. Boeing and Airbus are the same. If you can fly one, there's not much difference between all of them. Wacko Warner showing your age now, cheeky git. Mahon Pantia, what X-Vision preset are you using? It's a custom-made one from one of my Discord members. Again, I will ask him if I can post that publicly, and I'll link that to my Nightbot, if that's allowed. 2 tons of love, flight sim topic change, business usually F1, Mercedes dominant, Ferrari floundering. Yeah, I did see it. I read the update on that from F1's social media feeds yesterday. At least Williams is getting back on form at the F1.5 championship. Yes, I'm yet to get fully up to date for the new season, but I am hoping. Well, yeah, I think it'll be the same as usual until the new regs come in next year, but we'll see. J-Roll, thanks. I'll have a look. Good stuff. McLaren are looking good. Yes, I did see that. I do like Science and oh my god, you know how difficult it is when you're streaming. You get so zoned in with the stream and flying. I even follow him on Instagram. I can't remember his goddamn name. Lando Norris. Oh god, yes, I do like both of them. Norris! Yes, it was on the edge of my tongue. Right, how far are we from top of descent? 172. We'll start setting up a little bit, around 100 miles away. Shouldn't take too long to do. Michael Bremer, I'm not a huge football fan, but what do you think about Liverpool winning the Premier League? It makes not much difference to me. I know, what was it, 24 points ahead last week? Yeah, I kind of look at the main highlights and stuff. I didn't really know that because it was in the news that boy, the Manchester United fan, that young kid wrote to Klopp saying, "Can you stop winning games?" which I thought was quite amusing. He wrote back saying, "No." But it was very well worded, the letter. It was along the lines of, you know, you'll learn more when you grow up and stuff, which is quite cool. D849, can you make a step-by-step tutorial on how to become a pilot? I think there's plenty of people on YouTube who probably would help you in that process. I kind of try and keep to simming and gaming, really, or gaming quite, you know, only do it very occasionally, but generally I'll be simming then. So where are we here then? So we've got LFMK, EBBR, Bordeaux, not too far away. Rocan coming up here, but yeah, lovely clear skies over the south of France. Excuse me. Toulouse, not Bordeaux, what am I on about? LFBO's Toulouse, I think. I can't remember, yeah. Coming over, yeah, where are we routing today? Sierra Nevada, actually, they're coming up. Sierra Nevada, mountain range. Not Sierra Nevada, the Pyrenees. I'm getting all muddled up. I need to go back flying. Andorra. And then I think we'll be going just overhead Barcelona, making a slight right turn, and then onwards to Mahon. Oh God, another donation to say you're back. Thank you very much again for a donation of $5. I'm back. This is for Jack from K9 Ernie and Finley who want to say hi. Well, thank you very much, Carl. Jack is downstairs somewhere. My partner's currently making homemade pizza to take to the neighbours and a cottage pie. We're going all out. A vegetarian cottage pie, don't ask. But we're taking it over to the neighbours. We're cooking that. We weren't down there yesterday, but we'll take Jack with us. And Carl, we always we'll take a picture of Jack for you later on the Discord. Thank you very much for your continued support and another donation. Very generous. So we've got Lombra. We might not be going overhead Barcelona because we're going to be turning more southeasterly shortly. One of the things I do at my operator, especially if it's a new route or a route I've not flown, I always look geographically where we're going, which I haven't done on this live stream, just to kind of pick out a few airports roughly. I can tell you what, I thought that was Bordeaux, but LFB is Toulouse, or BO is Toulouse. Toulouse. I flew in there last year, but it can be a little. You know, you need to make sure you're familiar with your routing, so if something happens, you've got a rough idea where you could go, especially you want to be going somewhere where your operator flies into. Thank you very much, Anthony Murphy, another one of my members coming in with a very generous donation, €20. Thanks a lot, Anthony. I, Captain, missed a few live streams recently due to work, but off for a week now, so enjoying the 7.5 and the banter. How is Mrs. Tusim and Jack Tusim doing? Can't wait for the Tuplov and Mad Dog stream. Safe landing. As we were just saying, Anthony, all good. Cooking away downstairs. Jack's downstairs, no doubt, sleeping on his back with his paws in the air. But we'll obviously keep you all posted in Discord with the latest goings on to the Flight Factor Sim household. But thank you very much, Anthony, and I hope you enjoy your rest of your week off work. Thanks for your donation and continued support. Very kind. Yeah, look at the winds. Just saw a comment there. Yeah, way down here over the UK. It's been balmy. It's been like 180 knot winds at 30,000 feet, 50 knot winds at 3,000 feet. It's been really windy, so it's nice to get to some settled weather for a stream. Actually, what is the latest weather in Mahon? I can actually get Nightbot to do that. I can do that, I think. Come on, Nightbot. Oh, Nightbot's sleeping, clearly. I'll check the METAR. Ah, yes, thanks, that's why. I've got to put METAR. Thanks, guys, thank you. I don't even know how to run my own Discord. Right, so we've got 2505 knots, so slightly... We're planning on 01, so these these winds slightly favour the straight in. I think I'll stick to runway 01 though, because I've got a funny thing that's the preferred runway. Secondly, it's got a cool DME arc to fly as well, so it'll be quite good to see that. And it'll be a slightly longer flight time of 5 minutes, and it's just planned for as well. Clear skies, 13 degrees, QNH 103 hours. It's a really nice day down there. Here we are coming up to the Pyrenees of the Orpho, looking really nice. A little bit hazy out there. This is, and I must apologise to all my friends who are outside of Europe, because you know I generally only stream Europe. This is the reason why I have Orpho 4XP, nearly 7 terabytes of Orpho 4XP installed in my PC, and it's a heck of annoying. It's really annoying to install, and I've got very limited space now on my PC, especially as I have the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 installed, which is taking up a huge chunk of my solid state hard drive. You know, downloading this Flight Factor 757 and the scenery there, I'm down to the last 50 gigabytes, so I have to start uninstalling scenery to start using other ones, which is a bit of a pain. But I don't want to upgrade. I've got 2 hard drives. I've got the half a gigabyte solid state, which run everything off, and then a 7 terabyte conventional drive for Orpho. But yeah, that's generally why I only stream in Europe, because I've got all this fantastic scenery already installed, so I just had to fire up the sim and off we go. But there we are. There is the Pyrenees just here. Looks awesome. Oh, it's loud in there. It's not good. Oh, see a slight issue with that tile though, or patch. Yeah, a little bit hazy down there. Joe Worrell, can you tell us how big Flight Sim 2020 is in terms of storage? Again, I can't. I probably could, but I don't know if that's fallen in. I can't discuss anything about it. Dube849, do you always cruise at Mach 0.8? I think for the 7.5 it has a slightly higher cruise speed than the 7.3. We generally cruise around 7.6 to 7.8. This happily is doing Mach 0.80 using cost index of 32. MMO's slightly higher, I think it's about 8.4, 8.5, not too far off the 7.3 by the looks of it. Gooseboy just got in, well, welcome on board. How's the 757? It's a beauty, very pleased with it so far. Let's get it down on the deck first. I have only landed it from a circuit practicing, not on a full flight. It's the first time. Generally when I fly the aircraft for the first time for your entertainment, I only do it on a live stream. All I try and do is play with the settings, so when I first fire it up, you know, I know at least how it's working. I've changed quite a few of the little settings in here, make sure we got everything I like, but this is the inaugural 757 Alpaca Airways service. Volprick, when can we get Flight Data Sim scale models? How cool. I have a 737 on my desk. In my operator's livery, so I won't show you a picture of it, but it'd be quite cool to get a Flight Data Sim food one. Uga, the community always answers my technical questions. You guys seriously have a great community. Well, thank you very much, Uga. We do our best to keep everyone informed, and it's not just me. I have to take my hat off to a lot of the my members as well, because if it wasn't for them, I certainly wouldn't know as much about X-Plane 11. And you'll see now I have a lot of members who are assigned after a year's membership as moderators, and it's really helped tidy up the chat. So you get a lot of crud coming in. So I must say thanks to you guys for taking the time also to stay put and tidy up the nonsense which occasionally comes in. Obviously YouTube is a free domain for all types of people, no matter what their level of maturity is, but that is nothing you can do about. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm thinking of applying to Turkish Airlines pilot training program. Your video is really helping me make the decision of changing work field if accepted to the program. Well, best of luck with that. I didn't know someone that well, but one of my friends years ago when I joined the company, we were both doing our type rating together. He was Turkish. He joined Turkish Airlines after 2 years, and he now is on the 777 and loves it. I've not spoken to him for years and years and years, but I remember him telling me. Based in, is it Antalya? But yeah, go for it. I hope they have a good scheme you can apply for. Yeah, the Orpho is so good. I mean, it just looks real. Not's getting at least no illicit bots so far today. Yeah, you haven't been sold any anything of a sexual nature, have you? I can't believe that. I think it was some weird bot or someone. Apparently, someone thought it was someone that you know, he's quite prolific at spamming flight sim streamers and this sort of stuff. He's having a rest today, no doubt. Littoral Games, hello again to you. How's the Meta in Menorca? It's very nice in Menorca, no issues expected with the weather. Clear skies, winds less than 5 knots, high pressure. Matthias, are you certified for Cat 3B operations? No, Cat 3A only, Cat 3A autoland, so no rollout feature, just gets you, we have to disconnect the autopilot as soon as the nose wheel touches down, but it gets you down, RVR down to around 200 metres, so more than enough in most cases. Right, look, we're 90 miles from top of descent, so I think it's a good idea to start discussing the setup into Menorca. Just seeing where we are. Over the Pyrenees, going to fly a Girona event, so Barcelona will be off to the right hand side, and then over the Mediterranean into Menorca, so we'll get rid of that. So let's get the airport up we need. So Lima Echo Mike Hotel, Menorca. Looking at the latest weather, we just about pick up the 80s. It's light winds, 5 knots, so we can risk a slight tailwind for runway 01 today. Yes, we'll probably request 19 for real life, but they have a quite cool DME arc, and I want to see how the aircraft flies it, out of interest really. So we'll stick with the plan, runway 01. Tailwind approval on the 73 is 10 knots, 15 knots if certified on certain runways, but the total tailwind component is 3 knots, so it's not an issue. So the arrival we're going to be flying is a Sargo 3 Bravo, which is here, and it's going to be for ILS Yankee into Menorca, which is under approach. ILS Yankee, runway 01. And we'll grab the airport chart as well. So the airport briefing there, airport info, and parking stands. The scenery is from, I forgot to make a note of it, it's in the video description below. I think it was cost about $25 or something, but you can get a link to it. It's from Menorca XP, which I picked up from the whatever that flight sim website is, but the link is in the video description below. Volprick, thank you again for your donation. 17 towards new hard drives. Use RAID to combine storage. Thank you very much, Volprick. You know already as a member that my PC terminology is not scratch. I have no idea what RAID is or anything I could do, but I'm getting a bit down on space, so anything I could do to kind of up that would be good. I actually have a third hard drive which I didn't mention, which is just plugged in on top, which I have a lot of my games on, so that's not using much space, but it is getting a little full. But thank you very much for your continued support there and donation there. So that's all the charts we need. Right, so descent forecast page. Now someone said to me you can't change these winds. I couldn't on the route data page, on the legs page, so let's just, I mean, you wouldn't usually type FL, you just put the flight level in. No, it's not working at all, so, I mean, thankfully, the winds I don't think are too strong over Spain, so it wouldn't make much difference anyway. You can see, look, the winds are 13 knots, so I think at the end it won't make any difference. So, yeah, I don't know why you can't do that. Is there any way you can put the QNH? No idea. So there are some differences to the 737 FMC, so we'd usually populate that. Fixed rings, let's see if they work. Runway 01. Oh, merchandise has been purchased. Thank you very much, Mads Borland has just bought a die-cut sticker. Thank you very much, Mads, for that. Glad you got yourself some merchandise. I've had a lot of mugs sold recently. Thank you, Mads. And I look forward to seeing a picture of that when you stick it to something. Well, that's definitely alright. 954 miles from runway 01. If we're 954 miles away from Menorca, we're going to struggle to get in. Nope, it's not liking that coding. So I don't think I can put any fixed rings in for the runway. It's definitely not that one. 955. So how do I put the fixed rings in? I don't think I can. Runway 01, it should work that out. That's a shame. Unfortunately, I can't do it. You might be better off with Menorca as the fix. Yeah, I could try that. It just means it's not exactly where it should be. You should always do it from the runway threshold, but let's do it from there. That's going to be good enough. But we do it from the runway threshold. What are we at? 37,000 feet. 37 times 3 is 111. So let's see if we've got our fixed rigs in. Sorry, I'm flicking around here. There we are. Yeah, I think that works fine. But if we could do it for the runway, maybe I'd be surprised if it doesn't work. I'm surprised if it's not different. If it would be different in the 7.5, but it's not working here. So we've got something to work off at least. So page we've done. Fix. Approach. So let's have a look. So we're going to be flying towards Sargo. Sargo at or above flight level 100. Now this is where it's going to get fiddly because the EFIS panel's down here. Plan. And I've got a step here as well. Oh, this is really fiddly. You can't pop these out, can you? No. Oh no, I can pop the FMC out. That's something. So let's go to legs. So there is Sargo, and then from Sargo we're going to route direct to. No. Oh, I don't want to type in here. I want to get my shortcut out for Avitab. There we are. So Sargo track 164 to 344 radial until we're 15 DME from Mahon. So that's correct. Oscar point. Oscar's 15 DME because it's the 15th letter from the alphabet. But they're going to intercept this 13-mile arc. Now, DME arcs when you fly manually. I never had to do one. But you keep the RMI needle at 90 degrees and every, you can do it roughly every kind of 0.5 mile away. You just make a 10-degree turn or 5-degree turn and just keep going. Obviously with LNAV, it's just going to fly it perfectly. So we'll let LNAV do its thing. We can go down to 3,000 feet on the arc. Oh, why are we losing thrust? I hope they're not having any issues with the engine. We keep going around until we get to Tetis, and then we're going to get to Balio. So Balio's just here. Balio want to bring the speed right back to kind of not 240 knots. We want to be doing, I reckon, 180 at base. Let's go 180 slash here. Let me do it. Yes, it will. So 180 knots by Balio. We're then going to go past CI01 Yankee, and then at FI01 we want to be at 1600 feet. And that we can leave as a hard altitude. So LNAV VNAV should do it perfectly. Let's test it and see how it gets on. It should get us down because I programmed the FMC accordingly where we should be. So that's it. So the DME arc all the way around into the approach. Get rid of the FMC. Is there anything else of significance on the chart? So that's it, where the whole points are. No mentions of OSA, pretty simple stuff really. Here's the ILS chart then. So I now know on the 757, out of trial and error, that I have to tune the ILS down here, 110.3. I have to move this big knob, because I was trying to do one yesterday, and I couldn't for the life work out what to do until I searched it online. They said this is apparently where you tune the ILS, you only need to do it once. So you have the course set there and the ILS, and then these you just leave on auto to tune the required VORs. So, final approach track set, the ILS frequency is set, minimums then, we have Category C aircraft, well actually, well god, what is the 7.5? I'm guessing it's still Category C, Category D would be really heavy, it's not much difference, let's go with Category C, stick with what I know, and set 485, I think you can set that on here, 485, about there. Which coincides as 207 AGL. We wouldn't usually, we don't have a separate selector for minimums. We have a decision height here. I mean, I put 210, which is, yeah, that we should get the correct minimums height there. I don't know if that works off radio. It must work off radio altitude. RVR required is 550 meters. So we're going to come in via Balio, and then Balio intercept localizer 10. Intercept send 1600 platforms, very low, but FAF's at 4 DME. But we'll intercept the ILS much before that. Down we go to the minimum. So we have to go around Toga, go around whatever it is in the 7.5, or go around flap. I'm just going to select flap 15, maybe flap 20, because someone said you go gear down flap 20 in the 7.5. And then we'll climb runway heading to 2,000 feet, then we make a right turn back to the VOI overhead Menorca, and we hold at 2,500 feet. We typically get vectors for another approach there. Nice and straightforward, really. Landing distance available then, we have 25550 beyond the threshold glide slope. We've got 2 350 landing distance available, so it's not the super long, but it's not super short either. So, what's the landing flap settings in this? I can't. Full flap is flap 30, I think. Let's go full flap. What is the normal flap landing? You know, in the 7.3 we go flap 25, flap 30 for the normal, flap 40 for kind of short runway. Is that the same in the 7.5? So flap 30 would be short runway, flap 25 is the default flap setting? I have no idea. Oh, thank you very much to Littoral Games. He's also a member. Important mug. Thank you very much, Littoral Games. I look forward to seeing a picture of that mug in Discord very soon. Thank you very much. Enjoy your many a brew. Appreciate that. So let's go flap 30 initially. 125. I'll fly 130. Auto brake. Yeah, there were 4 auto brake settings. Let's go for 3. We're not super heavy, I don't think. Flap 30's default says it's okay, we'll go with that. Let's go flap 30 then. Auto brake to 3. And we'll use reverse thrust. Vacate at the first high speed, which is Foxtrot, Juliet, taxi onto apron. We'll just pick any of the gates here. Now, word of advice, if you have Ortho 4XP, I don't even know if it matters if you have Ortho, there was a mesh issue in Menorca. Now, to fix that, I've had to turn off runway contours, so the runway is flat, unfortunately. I've noticed, though, with some of my payway airports, the runway is flat anyway, so I don't know if that's how the developers make it, but I do want the slope runways, ideally, but I had to turn it off here, because there was a huge dip in the apron, and I couldn't actually taxi onto the stand without great difficulty, so I had to turn the runway contours off to ensure it's flat. But yeah, I think we're all set up, ready to go. We'll put this to map. Let's put that to 80 miles. And look at that, just approaching top of descent. That's very good timing. So 5 miles to go. Well, imagine we've been cleared to a lower flight level. Let's go down to flight level 100. The reason I set that is because I think that was the first restriction in the approach, although it's at or above. But we'll set 100. Imagine ATC said, okay, Alpaca 01, descend flight level 100, and redirect to Sargo, which you're kind of doing. There we are. And it should, I guess, just like with VNAV in the 7.3, initiate its descent at top of descent, he says. Oh, there we go. Cool, very quick reduction of thrust. Oh god, if my edges spool down that quickly at top of descent, I'd be concerned. Cool. FMC message. Drag required. Okay. What is our target descent speed? 277 knots, Mach decimal 75. Okay, so I guess it's slowing down to Mach decimal 75. A little bit high already. Okay, so just a little bit late with top of descent, but we are on our way down. Snapshot, you christened your mug with rum. Cracked out the Captain Morgans, did we? Probably something a bit stronger. Thank you. Will 185 ETA. Let's work off the FMC, not the one you see up here. 10:32 Zulu, and I'm running 8 hours behind live time. So yeah, 22 minutes apparently. I think probably a little bit longer than that. Say 25:30. Goosebite, can't be long until you're back flying in real life, I believe, Flight Sim. But you're excited after your long holiday. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I hope all of this bad weather in the UK and dust storms in the Canaries are over before I go back. Like, I want nice, smooth weather conditions. Ideally, I'll have to deal with whatever comes, though, as we are trained to deal with those situations. But yes, it's long awaited, and of course, you will be kept up to date in Discord with all my goings-ons, as I was before I took the new contract. Right, so this interesting. So hold on. Oh, would you look at that? We've had the engine anti-ice on for the entire sector. Oh god. Oops. Never mind. We'll just ignore that fact. Yeah, so I was just wondering, like, this is an idle path. We've got VNAV path and it's adding thrust again. It's got this. We've got these 4 FMAs here. We've got speed, so this would usually be retard or would be an arm in the 7.3. But it's actually added thrust. Yeah, whoops, can't believe that, the Edge of the Ice. Where's my first officers in chat? Usually you guys are really hot on the ball with me missing things. We all forgot the Edge of the Ice. That's why there's 2 of us, or in this case, 669 of us. We've got no excuses amongst all of us to forget to do that. Very good. How many likes are we up to? Oh, I'm going to struggle, I think, for my 757 likes. So up to 603 likes. So, yes, if you've just joined the stream, do appreciate the thumbs up on the video. I want to try and get at least 757 likes for this live stream for our flight in the 757 into Mahon. I've really enjoyed this flight though. Compared to the Airbus, I enjoy flying the Airbus. I like the challenge that brings, but I have flown this like a 7.3 and it's very transferable, these skills. Yes, the systems are different, there's extra things here, but it is in many ways very, very similar. But it doesn't do an idle path descent. And I certainly know that the 7.3, there's an option for it to not have to do an idle path descent. It's an operator-specific option where you can have an on-thrust descent. Or we have, my operator, what we call it on-approach logic or idle path descent logic. I can't remember the exact terminology. It's not mentioned in the FCOM anywhere. But essentially VNAV plans for idle thrust. And it'll add thrust when you get below a certain target speed, but on approach that logic does change. It will add thrust to maintain the speed whilst in VNAV path. Captain Pancake, the 18 dislikes are for the people jealous of your work. Probably. It's the same with everyone though. I don't often watch other streamers, but occasionally I flick in there and everyone gets the same. It's just that there's a few people out there who, for whatever reason, dislike the content. And I think, thankfully, the vast majority of people, not just streamers, but generally in life, are very accepting of everyone's work and don't have that sort of intention. But what can you do? Proxima, can you explain what VNAV and LNAV is? Yes, they are linked to the FMC. LNAV is short for lateral navigation, so it's essentially the magenta line programmed into the FMC and represented on the ND, which the aircraft will follow. VNAV is vertical navigation, and it's a vertical profile, again, built in the FMC to create the most optimal flight path for the FMC to follow. And it's all done automatically in the FMC. We don't have to worry about it, and as long as it's programmed correctly, you can essentially just use these 2 modes to follow a pre-calculated route, essentially. But as a lot of you have learned on my channel, early days I always stressed, and also stressed at the type rating as an instructor, we don't sit in LNAV and VNAV all day. Be prepared to use other modes as required. Jack's just walked in, my partner. He's been cooking. Okay. Sorry? I'll be done in about 30 minutes, as long as I don't go around. Alright. Hello, Jack. Jack's in here as well. Yes. Good boy. Alright, yes. I can't wait to see some Jack emojis in the chat. Alright, I'll be done soon. Thank you. Come on, out you go. Ooh, best not go around then. Time pressure is on. No, bless Mariana. She gives me so much freedom to do this. Not only do I stream, I'm often, I'd say most of my time is preparing for a stream. So I fired up the 7.5 yesterday and a couple of days ago when I bought it just for place. And she gives me a lot of spare time in the on the sim to practice to make sure when I do stream everything's working correctly. So I must give a lot of, I do pay my respects to her. She's been cooking away downstairs for the neighbours, and I've not done anything to help. Oh dear. Right, so let's check our progress. Still approaching Sargo. Thrust is changing to maintain our target speed of 277 knots. Yeah, it's doing its thing. Ready Day for 18 people Fortnite. This was a Fortnite stream. Unbelievable. So I had an email from someone a few months ago saying, please fly Nectar Sim, can you do a train simulator stream? Funny enough, I actually had, years ago, I downloaded it for a laugh. Someone said, could you do a train a train sim ride from Edinburgh, I think it was, to London, and he said you have to buy this one, this one, this one, this one, and you'll be amazing if you do. And I'll be like, I'll think about it. I've never got around to doing it. Time pressure is on. Get there, writers. She's probably watching this. David Smith, are you any good at poker? Now, I hadn't played poker for years, and my neighbour's really into it. He's very good at it as well, and I'm slowly getting back into it. No, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm that good. Yes, I'm good at bluffing, so I've got a rubbish card, and reading people is, you know, you can be good at it, but I'd like to play a varied game anyway. So I remember once playing a good friend of mine. We used to play quite a lot when we were younger, and I beat his full house with a 4 of a kind. But if you have a full house, you're pretty much going to go all in if it gets to that stage. And he went in and he thought he won. I had 4 of a kind. I had 4 of a kind 4s, and I had pocket 4s. Pair of 4s, and then I had 2 4s on the river, so with the 4 cards on the table. Just played Texas Hold'em, and yeah, it was the most satisfying thing I've ever done in my life. I gave him that. Christian Woolley, so close to 40,000 subscribers. Yeah, I think we're up to 39,700. I think we'll probably get to it in the next couple of weeks. I will do some. We'll find something to do for 40,000 for sure. Thank you. Farmer Simulator, you must be having a laugh. You get a simulator everything these days. Land ahoy, Captain. That looks like I can see the Island of Menorca. There is Mahon, the city we'll be landing at, and the airport will be in the far distance there. But yeah, you see, look, because there's no clouds in the sim now, the frames per minute improved dramatically. 60 frames per second. It goes down to around 25-30 when there's clouds. Looking good. Water textures are awesome. Yeah, not. I think it's a little louder than that, if I'm honest. The sounds aren't quite right on this aircraft. There we are. Right, approaching 15,000 feet, flight level 180. Let's put the seatbelt signs on. Yeah, it's maintaining its target speed quite nicely, and we are at idle thrust roughly, so I think the VNAV logic's pretty good. It's close to idle thrust anyway. There's Sargo, so we're now inbound on the arrival. And we can now go down to 4,000 feet safely, so we'll set that here. We'll set the QNH. Again, I wouldn't expect to be cleared this low, this early, but I know ETC gives us something. One less thing to think about. Latest QNH in Menorca from 20 minutes ago is 1031, so we'll set that 3 times now. Yeah, you see, look, because I can't update VNAV, when I change the QNH, the VNAV path changes, which I'd expect it to do, but I can't punch that information into the FMC. Well, I probably can, but I couldn't find it. 1031 and 1031. Goose Boys, the 757 and 737 similar or very different? Very similar. Very similar. All Boeing aircraft are. Some subtle differences, but I've essentially flown this like a 737 the whole way, and it's not been far off what I'd expect from a 737. So yeah, experience on this aircraft about an hour and a half, 2 hours perhaps prior to this stream. This is the first time I've done a full flight. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been great for the flight. So yeah, again, I'd recommend this aircraft. It's very good for. But that's what I was told, that the Flight Factor 75 is very good. Yannick Hosner, is it always necessary to fly a transition, or sometimes enough to fly the arrival or final approach 6? You'd only ever fly this full arrival if there was no ATC. So if there was no ATC available, we'd fly this procedurally following this approach. But if I remember rightly, there's radar available here, so you contact Mahon radar. Let's have a look. I've only got 80s frequencies there. Yeah, the Menorca approach, they'd vector you on the approach, so I'd expect probably a downwind like this vectored onto a 10-mile final. It's been a very long time since I've flown to Mahon, so I can't remember exactly what you can expect here. Start putting the tilt up on the weather radar. Although there's no weather at all, it's a really nice day. Tell you what, Alex Barnes, you said 4 sectors today, absolutely exhausting. I'll see how I'm up for it. I could do for a stream a one-off 4-sector day. That would be quite fitting. 4 sectors, 40,000 subscribers. But that would be exhausting. I would die. I remember doing 2 sectors in a complex aircraft. I might have to do it in the Zebo mod. I'll think about it. A 4-sector day for 40,000 subscribers. Ugh. Matches, does your company use CPLC? Yes, I think it's pretty much mandatory now in Europe. I've never used it because I've been off since last year on my seasonal contracts. Mikai, looking at the airport live stream from Lanzarote, there's so much dust in the air. Yeah, I'll have a look later to see if there's been any diversions or disruptions there. 4 sectors in the Tupolev, you must be joking. 40,000 sectors for 40,000 subs. Every airport in the world flying into. I think that's going to be impossible. 40,000 subscribers, plenty more than your local MP. Oh dear. Don't talk politics in my live streams. It's a touchy subject. There we go. Right, so approaching 13 DME, so I think 12.6, is that Menorca? Yeah, I think it's done it automatically. Look, so we've got 12.6. So when it gets to 15 DME, 15 here, it should start the turn and then maintain this 13 DME arc. So let's see how it responds. There it is. Mahon, straight ahead of us. See, look, there's a different tile there, so there's a slight different shade and colour, which is just an issue you get with Ortho sometimes. So we should start slowing down soon. And start a right turn. Yeah, it's very good, this flight factor, really. Lanzarote diverted to Tenerife earlier due to weather. Oh yeah, I should think that will be due to the sandstorms. Very good. Yeah, this is good. This flight factor is good. 15 DME starting the turn. Really nice. There we go. Virtual sky check. Aren't you a bit high? 10,000 feet. We should be about 30-35 miles away. 43, actually a bit low. Plus slowing down. Well, I'd say we're pretty close to where we should be. Remember, we've got to go all the way around here and descend. Alright, so it's cut the corner slightly. We're approaching the decel, so we've got 240 below 100, which is what it's doing now. That should be 13 DME. So yeah, it's overshot this slightly. I think that's because we were going a bit fast, 280, but we'll see. It looks like it's trying to get back onto the arc. So when you're flying like a DME arc like this, you want to be doing 13 DME. This is the RMI we're using here. If you turn outside of it, your distance will increase. If you turn inside of it, the distance will decrease. But you want to keep that at 90 degrees. That's this one. So you'll see now, because we're flying away from it, the needle will come down. As soon as it's at 90 degrees, the aircraft, or LNAV in this case, will continue the turn. Right, there's 10,000 for 4,000 feet. I think we can go down to 3,000 feet now. Yes, we can. So 3,000 feet we'll put on the MCP. And we'll do the post-cruise check. So fuel, we've got all the pumps on. 4 tons on board. So the fuel balance is very close to what I'd expect in the 7.5. The flight plan, put all the lights on. Forward facing, APU's off, pressurization. Altitude, cabin altitude's very high. Look at that. 7,000 feet. Diff pressure's low. Alright, fair enough, that's set. Is that 800 feet? I'm not sure. No, it's 800 feet. Interesting. Not sure what that's reading. Seatbelt signs on. Recall. There we are. Checks are all complete. So, pretty much on the VNAV path. We're doing our target speed. Yeah, it's really nice. Look at that. Well done, flight factor. At 13 DME. Bang on the arc. And look at the RMI. See how it's at 90 degrees, and that's where you want to keep it. Obviously, this is going to do far better than any human could, but it's continuing the correct angle on the turn to keep this exactly at 90 degrees. But if I was flying this, I'd probably do wings level for a short while, let that get up to about 13.5, make a left turn, the RMI would move across. But yeah, that's how you fly DME arcs. I've never flown one in real life, never, not even during the instrument rating. I flew one in the simulator during training in the Seneca sim, but never flown it in reality. Nice and quiet. Cool. Have we got up to, how many likes are we up to now? I have to keep opening the video on a separate, oh, we've got plenty of people watching though, 728. Oh no. I've got to butter this one. Ooh, up to 689 likes. Oh, well guys, if you have only just joined for the approach and landing, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. We're trying to get up to at least 757 likes for the stream. For the 757. Badger sides, all is going well. So approach checks we do now. Frequencies are tuned here, ILS and course. We've got my little range ring based off the airport, not the runway threshold. Idents. Now where do I get the idents for the ILS and everything? I've no idea. There's nothing on the ND showing that the ILS is identified. I hope it is. Standby instruments are set, so we put this to ILS. Is that to ILS? Oh, there we are. Courses we don't set here, it's just on the pedestal. So yeah, approach checks are done. He loves a floaty, says Danny Lewis. Don't flare. Got to get there. 727 likes, nearly there. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for that. It's all about the likes. Awesome. Well, this arc's been nailed. Look at that. Really nice. So it's just adding a little bit of thrust there to maintain 240. We did tell it to slow down. You see I said to be doing 180 knots at Balio, which is coming up. There's no decel or anything on the ND, so we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully it will slow down for us, otherwise we're kind of going to level change. Well, they don't have level change, it's called flight level change. I think that's like level change in the 7.3. We'll find out shortly. Mesley, how often do you fly VOR DME approaches? Yeah, occasionally. A lot of RNAV approaches now, but in essence they're flown all the same way in the aircraft. The FMC has that approach coded, and once we select it we can use LNAV and VNAV regardless of what the actual approach is. It's sort of the same thing, essentially. But you have to have the VOR tuned. You can speed into vent like an Airbus. Don't tell me it's like an Airbus. Ugh. But looking good. 5,000 feet. Want to be around 15 plus slowing down. We want to be about 15, 18 miles away. We're 23, so again, suggests we're a little bit low, but we're not quite. You know, we're only descending. This isn't an idle path descent. You know, we're doing a kind of a shallow 1,000 feet per minute. So I'd expect it. I don't think this is built, or whether it's meant to be building a full idle path. It's just set a bit of a shallow descent here with thrust on. So, you know, it's not quite where I'd expect it, but I'd expect it to be slowing down now. Yeah, 180 knots in 10 miles, and we're doing 240. So if it doesn't start slowing down in the next minute or so, I'll bring the speed back. Yeah, thanks guys. Awesome, 757 likes. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Now let's see if we get 1,757. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. That's wicked. I need to try and fly in an aircraft now that has like a lot of numbers in it. Cessna 172. I'm never going to stream that, guys. You're not going to like it enough. Right, well, I don't think that's going to slow down to make 180 knots at Balio now. So I'm going to have to... I don't know why, but I'm going to kind of go to VNAV speed. I can't even do that. I was going to go level change or fly level change. So I'm manually bringing the speed back now because I want to be doing 180 at this point, not 240. So I did tell it to do 180 at Balio, but with only 6 miles to go, we're going to struggle to make that restriction if I don't do it. Excellent. So where's my ILS ident? That can't. Are we bang on the glide slope? No, I don't think that's the glide slope ident. Right, I'm going to start selecting flaps. Now, let's go flap 1. Now, where's the 1 bug? Is there a flap 1 bug? Oh goodness, there's no bugs or anything here. I have no idea what I should be bugging. Let's just do 200 knots. That seems safe-ish. I have no idea what this F is regarded or is related to. I want to bring that speed back before we turn. We're kind of levelled off here at 4,000. Throttle's blocked. Oh, I don't want my throttles blocked. What does that mean? Let's go vertical speed. I'm just going to go vertical speed. I'm going to select flap 5. I'm going to bug 1, the F speed. I think F is the target speed. Just bug the F, I guess. There's no flap indicator on it. Okay. Right, there's the turn. Oh, look, we're very low on the glide slope. So that's VNAV is not quite where I want it to be. Let's really slow this down. Yeah, 3,000 feet. Let's get down to 400 feet per minute. I'm going to have to add thrust here. So VNAV is off here. Unless this, let me put this as 1600 or above, but I think that shouldn't make any difference. No, because it was meant to be at 1600 at that point. So the VNAV doesn't match the ILS here, so it's put us quite low on the approach. Let's get rid of that. We've overshot the localizer as well. Crikey. Yeah, look, we completely overshot the localizer. Should have turned inside a Balio there. So let's self-vector here. Ooh, it's gotten busy and all of a sudden. Wasn't expecting this. Let's arm approach. We'll go down to, there's localizer capture, so runway heading set. We can step down now to 2,500 feet. We'll leave it in this configuration. What is that? Altitude alert. Alright, I think we're okay. F is the next stage of flap required. Alright then, fair enough. But it came a little bit low on the localizer, but we've managed a continuous descent by going vertical speed, so it's not the end of the world. Runway headings, oh look, it's set that automatically for me. Not bad. Right, glide slope capture coming in. We've just got the DME come alive as well, and the missed approach altitude is 2,500 feet. There we are, glide slope capture. 2,500 feet is set already. Right, they're fully established. Kind of got there. Overshot the localizer slightly. And the VNAV slightly off as well. It's showing us about 400 feet high, but we're actually bang on the glide slope. And all the constraints are set correctly, so not sure why that is. Danny Lewis, you'll definitely go around, he says. Or ye of little faith. We have got around before. Wind's perfect down here. It's perfect weather conditions. I've got 2603 knots, so there's no wind. Cav OK, 12 degrees. QNH is 1031, which is all set. Sounds like the engines are off. It's really eerily quiet in this aircraft. Passengers are happy. Nice approach. Approaching 6 DME. We'll configure it around 5 DME. A little bit later than... a little bit earlier than I'd usually configure. Rudder pedals are in a good position. I'm comfortable, ready for the approach. Rick S says, don't do any floaties. No, we go for butters, but it's not the hugest runway here, but our approach speed is quite slow. Right, I think we'll go flat 15 now. I'll bug the F speed. Actually, you know what, I'll go gear down. Flaps to 20. Oh, it's gone very dark in the flight deck here. It's just F you have to bug, that's really easy then. Right, let's get this configured for landing. Start switch is continuous. Recool is checked. Speed brake. I know I have to flick it up here. There we are, armed. There's no green light. Landing gear's down 3 green. Auto brake is set. Just holding on the landing flap. Let's bug RV ref plus 5, which was 130. Let's now select flat 30. It's so quiet. I hope these engines come in. Yeah, have a guess of the landing rate anyway. There's no automated wave, but it's just for a bit of banter. Right, TA only. That's cool. Right, here's the engine spooling up. So they're definitely running. Nice. Right, so flaps, we've got 30. Landing lights are on. Clear to land. Checklist is complete. Right, I think it's about time. I disengage everything. Auto throttle off. And go from there. Right, so... all sorts of the FMA. I'm going to zoom in slightly here so it's a little bit easier to see out the runway. Still got the PFD in the view, so speed's creeping up a little bit high here. We're about 5 knots too fast, so I'm just going to bring the thrust back a little bit. Oh, I'm not happy with this view at all. Alright, a little bit high, keep it descending. 2 reds, 2 whites, left of centre lines, or tidy that up. Continue. A little bit low here, so just arrest that rate of descent, but keep it going down as well. There we go, they're on the centre line now.
50, 40, 30,
check,
20,
close,
10.
just hold the attitude, Oh, hold it. Where is that runway? Come on. Minus 60. Get in. Speed brakes up. Reverses. That is absolute butter. 100 knots. 80 knots. 60 knots. I had a reverse. I think I was just inside the touchdown zone, but it has to be one of the smoothest landings we've ever had. It's very satisfying whenever you pull off one like that in real life. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Menorca, where the local time in the sim is 11:37. We're coming up to 7:37 in the evening here. Oh, that was very, very satisfying. Right, auto brakes. How do I turn those off? Off. Yes, a little bit ambitious with the braking. I should have kept the speed up to vacate here. I was a little bit excited with that landing. I can't believe it. We did float up. We must have been like 2 feet above the runway for that entire flare there. It was really, really coming down. I was just holding the attitude. The key is don't keep rising the nose here, because you're just going to stretch that landing out. And basically, you go outside the touchdown zone, but you have to go around, which is not beneficial. A little bit too light, in fact. If it was a wet runway, you wouldn't want to land like that at all. Yeah, it's very satisfying anyway. Keeps the passengers happy. Alright, so we'll take the exit here. We'll taxi straight ahead. Let's turn off these. These strobes can come off, so white. Flaps I've selected up already. Trim would then reset. Flight directors would come off. Set that to 3,100. Set that to 100 knots. Flaps are up. Probes can't turn off, and the start switches at the top come off as well. Then we'll get the APU started as well. Very satisfying. I think that has to be a record for the lightest ever landing. Speed brake stowed as well. Right, APU, start. And start switches to off. And I think we'll just find ourselves a nice little air bridge to park us off. Weather radar off, thank you very much. I always forget that one. There we are. Absolute greaser, says Tesla guy. The runway is toast. You'd do a Pegasus. Smooth. We've definitely landed harder. Floater in Menorca. Butter. I think I'll rename the video at the end here. Butter in Menorca. Flora. I love all this butter terminology. There are other butter brands out there, may I remind you. Was it outside the touchdown zone? Yeah, like I said, that is not what we aim for. It's very satisfying, but if you're using up 400-500 meters in the process on a short runway doing that, you're just putting yourself into trouble. But thankfully, the Cavizer desktop simulator don't have to worry such things. Also, I think the APU is up and running. APU generators on the bus now, so I guess I just shut the engines down. Should we go for stand 13? Unlucky for some. I think we should. Ooh, a bit aggressive on the brakes. There we are. Oh, we're jumping up and down here. Don't want to blind the ground crew, so we'll turn off the nose lights. Still got another light on there. Should get some guidance coming on. Runway turn off lights can come off as well. 752, that's correct aircraft. Ooh, keep braking. Don't want to overshoot it. It's very jerky, these brakes. It's like full brakes or no brakes. Stop, it says. Right, there we are. So, parking brake is set. There's no blue lights here, but APU's on the bus. Parking brake is set, so let's shut these down. Yeah, it looks like... Oh my goodness me. Yeah, it's definitely still powered, so I've done that correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Menorca. Right, seatbelt signs off, anti-collision light can come off, position light, we'll keep that on. And that's about it. I think we're all good. We made it. How do I get the air bridge to come in? I have no idea. I hope it will join in the next few seconds. Fantastic. That was really, really, really enjoyable. Right, I always forget to do this. I'm just going to end Project Flight in the background, so that completes the flight. So complete flight. Done, and then I can shut the overlay down. There we are. can already hear the passengers disembarking, which is really, really cool. The Menorcan butter anchor, yes, 777 likes, awesome. Next I have to do the 777. Thank you very much. Tim Skipper, you landed 1 minute 40 seconds ahead of you. Yes, you said you were going in the Airbus, I think you said. So yeah, maybe flying a little bit faster than that aircraft. That's awesome. I've got some spammer mods here, of course, and then the rest of the butter banter as per usual. But yeah, really enjoyable first flight for the Flight Factor. There were some minor little things with the FMC and the logic perhaps I'm not familiar with, but can I say it's an aircraft worth getting? Absolutely. I've not flown the 7.5, but I've got a friend who's used it on his type race. He said it's brilliant, and I can confirm it is very, very good. So yeah, it's a fun stream. I do look forward to jumping in this again at some point, and streaming in it on another route, and I'll let you guys decide that. But yeah, thank you very much again for coming in. Let's of course end the live stream with our usual replay and cue the music. There we are. So let's get ourselves, there we are, that's the view we want, and go from the threshold as well. Dube849, incredible stream again, thank you very much. Yeah, just the one sector I'm afraid today, as you've already known, my partner came in half an hour going, what time are you finishing? But she knew I was going to be streaming today anyway. I parked at a 737 position, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, so unfortunately just the one flight today. Unlucky for your poker tonight. Yeah, positive rate says, yeah, if I'm parking on stand 13, could be the case. Right, let's actually see how long I floated for then. Oh, look at that! Oh, it's literally, look, a foot off the runway, and then it just settled in just in the touchdown, so a little longer, but not beyond where we have to be. Very, very good then. Very happy with that. That was very good. I'm quite a modest man, but I'm very pleased with how that looked. Oh, no tyre smoke unfortunately either. Oh, it was just very, very close to the money. That would have been very good if it had been about 100 metres before. I'll do one more and then one from the tower view, I think. It's a lovely aircraft. Oh, that's where I want to touch down, but it was only just outside of it. I think that's the butteriest landing we've ever had. Awesome stuff. Right, I'm going to do one more view because I like doing lots of replay views with the landings like that. Let's do one from the tower, if we can actually see the aircraft from here. Yes, we should. Let's do one more view. Oh, yeah. I'm very, very pleased with that. Awesome stuff, guys. Fantastic. Right, well, thank you very much for everyone that made it to another Flight Deck Sim live stream. The inaugural 757 service from Brussels to Mahon. I hope you enjoyed that and perhaps even learned something new. Thank you very much, as usual, to everyone that donated. Like the video. Thank you very much for helping me reach that target of 757 likes. That's just something I felt would be a bit of fun. But don't forget to always keep smashing up that thumbs up video to get this video out to as many people as possible, which it does if you keep up to date. Next live stream, again, nothing set in stone. I'm back to work in 4 weeks, but I hope to get as many streams done as possible in that time. Thank you again to everyone that bought the merchandise, the sticker and the mug, which I hope the respected users get them as soon as possible and you enjoy them as well. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm off to go play us a little bit of poker. Wish me luck. Hopefully I'll get a good few hands and win a few quid as well. We'll see what happens. Have a lovely evening and I'll catch up with you all very soon. Bye-bye from me.